Time's up. Abdul.
Here it comes.
Fade in.
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go f yourself. But go f yourself. Is that clear? I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
What's the matter? Take yourself a great big bite of meat. Taste the pleasure of the highest quality pork around.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Do a little Mr. Miyagi. No, I'm doing the Karate Kid focus in and out right here. This is like me breaking blocks of ice. Okay.
But I also hate you a little because you go and make it your business to try to make fun or try to get in. Yes, exactly. Half-breed putting her crotch in my face.
I'd work with Haley Atwell every day.
But
with two hands even.
Yeah, you're here to bang women.
I want it to be a good film. This is what I want going into this. But I know for sure I'm going to be bent over and unspeakable things are going to be done to my hiney. And I don't want that.
But I'm so apathetic to Star Wars that this episode could have featured Yoda riding on a dildo being wielded by R2-D2, and I would have the same reaction.
Yo, you let the joint hit the back of your throat. Have you no shame?
It's going to be some freak mess. You know it's going to be some weird freaky-deaky, like, he became one with Reed Richards for one day and bust a fat nut that one moment, and now
I use it. It's great. It's great. It's fantastic. You have to understand the glory of a good back scratcher. I don't know. I didn't know what I was missing all these years. It's fantastic. I'm tired of hurting my left arm to try and reach around. Box office.
You're doing it to yourself. I am not responsible for the degeneracy of this stream. Jurassic Park didn't eat more out of Lilo's pie.
Oh fuck! I'm still jerking off in front of my console.
Please, sir, can I have some darkies?
This is Harlem, baby, and we doing nothing but blackity. I'm like, listen, sir, can we just have a superhero show?
The cops are on my back, Luke. You gotta get these blue folks up off me, dog.
I'm like, bruh, how much more of this I gotta want?
But it was a space battle. It's a visually impressive object all over me.
I'm colored. Shut up.
It has shown us one thing. The fake fans, the stands, they show up. They showed up for all of these. But they're not an audience.
Nope.
They're a bunch of weirdos hanging out in a parking lot watching each other do weird shit.
Oh God.
I don't know where I come up with these. They just happen.
Are you out there watching them watch them?
I can hear them from where I am. That's the
a lot of squelching.
Yeah. Listen, at least I don't have to clean it up. That's good.
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Again, I went to go see Deadpool last year, and Captain America trailer played, and somebody thought that was Hawkeye.
I mean, it is.
Well, no, it's I hang on, brain. But hey, I need a restart. Hang on.
That Dermy comment broke us both because I heard Falcon too.
No, I heard Hawkeye.
You heard Hawkeye, but it's like there's three all wrongs right there.
I heard Hawkeye.
What?
But we don't want Revan touched. No.
Agreed.
You don't want anything good touched.
No.
Agreed.
Yeah. Because Disney Star Wars is a bad touch.
It is a bad touch.
Touches you in the bad place.
It's a bad touch.
Show me on the doll where Disney Star Wars touched you.
I need a bigger doll.
Oh God.
There's no doll left.
There was high top fade, Dre. There's been so many over the years. Cornrows, all of them.
Just let your soul glow. Just let it shine through. Just let your soul glow, baby. Feeling oh so silky smooth.
And I gotta say, any person who uses a Funko Pop or gets a Funko Pop immediately disqualifies themselves from any fan discussion.
Unless you're getting it for a mocking reason to make fun of something.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Or if it's a gift from someone.
Both of y'all suck. I hate you both.
If it's a gift from someone who doesn't know better, that's fine. I have a couple of those. But if you're going out collecting Funko Pops,
no, you're retarded. Funko Pops are awesome. I hate myself. I have a problem.
I've got loads of them.
You're a girl. You're allowed to do it. You're a girl.
It's okay for girls. Yeah, they're exempt. Dre, this is not okay. We need to have an intervention.
I have a problem. I've got no shame.
And these tool bags wouldn't know quality if it walked up and motorboated them. Because, you're going to motorboat quality.
Wait, what?
Quality boobs. You want to motorboat quality boobs.
There we go. All better now. Man, titties are the greatest things on earth.
I still have no shame. Hail and howdy, everybody. Welcome back to the round table, where I think we have a show for you today. Let's be honest, some things are slow, some things keep repeating on us, and I mean that in every single way possible, where we have to keep talking about them, and we do our best, and we appreciate everybody joining us today. So we hope you're having a pleasant Sunday afternoon as we get started. Hi, Jed. I got nothing. Just go ahead.
You got nothing? Well,
I got nothing.
It is great to be here. I just have to say, I'm incredibly privileged. I know I have to acknowledge my privilege, but not in the way that people think. I got to spend my weekend watching Star Trek, playing The Witcher 3, watching and discussing a great movie, Ex Machina, writing a new novel that's got me excited, and I get to come on here with my friends and talk shit about pop culture. What's a better life than that? I feel incredibly lucky, and I'm glad to be here. And then Adam just ruins it with his degeneracy. So we'll see how long it takes for that to happen.
Hey, listen. I had to play Party Animals last night, all right? It was terrible.
I don't envy you on that.
It was terrible. I was in pain. And this man right here is responsible. Dom H for 5 gifted memberships. The channel. Thank you, Dom. And he wants to know for another $5, did I get my Patriot title back, buddy? We'll find out. Thank you, Dom. Much appreciated. I do appreciate it. And listen, as miserable as I was yesterday, and I was miserable, I was not pretending. I did not like that game. I still owe 3.5 hours of playing that because they kept adding time, Dre. They add the time, and we tapped out at like around 12:30. So I owe 3.5 more hours. So essentially, I will not schedule the stream, but every time they play, I essentially have to play now until those 3.5 hours are up. And I've pretty much been told that every time we do it, they're just going to keep adding more time. So I'm going to have to play this game forever until I decide to shut this grift down. So, hi, Dre. How are you?
Good afternoon, everybody. Oh, dang.
Oh, hey.
Oh, wait a minute. So sorry about that.
That's the voice of God.
Sorry. Hey, what's up, everybody? It's been a good, solid week. Almost done building this website. Praise the Lord. So hopefully that'll be done this week. Got myself a new do-rag. I'm debuting that joint today. New do-rag today. So
I have the same hat I always do.
Yeah. So it's good, solid week. My son is doing well. I can't complain. Can't complain. Won't complain. Had a pretty solid week. Had a good Pokemon battle on Friday. It was dropped. It was fun. So fun and good stuff. Just like Jed. Then we get to come and talk about pop culture and ruin everybody's day. So yeah, absolutely.
You guys got to have fun. I got to be miserable. So I got to make all of you miserable today. Now it's the balance in life. Dragon Lady, do you believe in the balance of life?
Depends on the balance, really. When to say the re-release of Goldfinger earlier this week at my local cinema. Pretty good. Just skipped straight to the film. No annoying adverts or trailers beforehand, so that was good. I did not fall asleep after the opening credits, unlike my poor mum who did during Living Daylights when that originally came out. Then she went to see with her friend back in '85, and only thing she remembers from that was the opening credits because she fell asleep during it for no reason whatsoever.
So she's never seen it again in
Nope.
40 years. Well, that's a crime. That's a great movie. Well, hail and howdy to everybody in the chat. We're happy to have you here with us. Hail to the mods, Algrimla, Goddess, and Ruben X, here to do the good work and, pretend to care about what I do. Hail, Frank. How you doing, Frank? Zos on a Jogster. Welcome back from vacation. Let's see who else is here. He said hi to Dom already. Howdy, Kale. How are you? Welcome back, Kaylee Scope. She's returned as well. Hail, Stephen Watson. It was Party Animals. The stream installed. It will remain up. It will not be unlisted. It will not be hidden because it is part of the content. Chat made me play this gaming because I will not play that of my own accord. I just who else here? Hail to Go For It Painting. How are you? And hail everybody else who is just watching and not chatting. We are happy to have you here joining us. And I do want to do this. So this got premiered on Ballbusters, and just because it's excellent promotion, I will find a way to incorporate it into stuff. So good friends Kratos El Grados and Professor Savage Dad, they work together to create a promo for the Daily Dive. I'm going to assume you guys haven't seen this because it is on the X Twitters, but I don't think it's getting a lot of the I'd say this moved around, a lot of the traction. Kratos and Prof work together on this, so I'm going to share it with you guys. Because it would be a shame not to, and of course I must own that it exists. Here we go. Enjoy this because I didn't. This is the kind of music that plays in your head when you're getting closer to boobs. That's the music playing in your head. It's like almost there. That's the music plays in your head. Now, I do want to say, in the AI, this AI is great. It took like 30 pounds off of me. Thank you. Thank you. I need to lose that 30 pounds.
I'm looking at this, y'all said, is that you?
Yeah, well, sort of. I mean, wait for it. Also, I was wearing shorts. I wasn't wearing pants. I was wearing shorts. Like I said, I'd love if I looked like this. I don't. I'm like 30 pounds overweight. It's terrible.
That's a slender physique right there.
Yeah, well, I'm actually a lot broader too. I'm not so slim, but still. Reach the boobs.
Oh.
Yes, thank you, Kratos.
And just like that, you ruined my weekend. I knew it was going to happen, Dre. I said it in my intro that something like this was going to happen. I think you ruined my month with that.
I didn't make this. Kratos
That's
and Prof made
cancer.
this.
I'm going to have to get a colonoscopy after this just to make sure I'm going to live.
Dreezy wasn't ready.
I didn't even create this. This was sprung on me on Friday night. All right. I had no idea they were doing this. And what can I do but share it?
Oh my God. Oh no. That did something to two parts of my body. That's not good.
You see, I'm watching this on Friday and I thought to myself, there's no way I'm getting out of this unscathed. There's no way. They're going to do something that ruins it for everybody. And I'm thinking those boobs ain't attached to something good. They're not. And then the zoom out, it's like, oh, God damn.
I now know what hell is like.
That is.
This is my hell. I live in it.
It's our hell too because we had to watch that. Screw Dante's Inferno. Just read this or watch this instead.
Oh boy. Yeah, Kaylee, it was premiered on Ballbusters on Friday. Everybody saw it there, and yeah, so it behold the promo for Daily Dive at the moment.
Hey,
that should be your new intro instead of the
no
highlight.
No, people will leave. So yeah. Good Sir Algrim the Strong for 31 months membership, pretending to care about you, flying to boob heaven, and Dermy's demise. Yep. Listen, I mean, Dermy provided the horrible conclusion to that, but he didn't know it was going to happen either. I mean, listen, if he'd been involved, he would have been cackling way harder. Like, I got you. No, he was as surprised as anybody. All right, so welcome to my hell.
Well, I just threw up.
Yeah. We need to end this stream now, and we all need to find a new therapist. All right, it's over. This was a good run. Roundtable's dead. Every Sunday for the rest of my life is going to be dealing with the psychological trauma of today.
So there you go. I wanted to share that. You're welcome.
Next time, think before you do.
Anyway, so I hope everybody's ready for the rest of the show. Before we get it started, though, I do want to say a very sad thing I noticed this morning as Twitter. Terrence Stamp has passed away.
Yes.
Terrence Stamp has passed away. Incredible actor. So many things. Notable, of course, for being General Zod. Kneel before Zod. I mean, he was great. Love Terrence Stamp. And all thoughts and best wishes to his family in this moment where I'm sure they are in mourning. So, and we lost. You never heard anything bad about him. Class act, came in, did his job, and was respected for his talent. So, R.I.P. Terrence Stamp. Just wanted to make sure everybody got a chance to appreciate that. And we'll probably talk about it a little more tomorrow on Metal Mondays because that's where we really nerd out about those types of things and roles. We enjoyed them anyway. All right, so yeah, Rolando, man, you're welcome. Anyway,
he
all right,
was still acting strong these last few years. I mean, we watched Last Night in Soho with him, and that only came out a few years ago. He was fantastic in that.
He was 87. So Terrence Stamp's great. So sorry to downer there, but so respect to the man for providing us entertainment for all these years. All right, so what do we got today? It's kind of a mixed bag. I call it a mixed bag because it's several things, nothing really major, but several things that will, of course, engender, I think, world discussion. Of course, we have the box office privilege, and it's kind of our last box office because everything's done. The summer of flops are over. This kind of was summer of flops. Summer of over propagandizing, over pushing a bunch of movies that were all collectively shit. I mean, I may have celebrated that dinosaurs won, but it was like the smartest kid at the front of the short bus. There was nobody won here. We will, of course, definitely talk some Superman, which will lead into another discussion I want to have. And also, we'll just check in on Fantastic Four Baby Steps because, hey, I love being right. I just do. And one more movie, just want to say that to follow up on our conversation last week, that is, of course, for me. After that, I'm going to let Jed wail and scream about Alien Earth. I'm going to let him do that. I still haven't watched it. Don't intend to at the moment. And then, as I said, we have a couple other things. One more thing. We're going to get a chance to point and laugh at Doctor Who, which is a fun thing. And then we'll have a discussion, or maybe the discussion will be in the middle, depending on how I want to, tie everything together. Essentially, what is a flop? What constitutes a flop? Because I had a conversation with somebody on stream a few days ago in the chat who was very polite. Didn't come in here to start a fight. Didn't actually have a fight with me, but was questioning these things that I was putting out there about what is a flop, and I tried to define it. So I feel like we need to sit down and have the conversation. What is a flop? And attach that. this particular person could not understand when I said they spent all this money and they need $1 billion to break even about Superman. So, well, why would they do that? Why would they make a movie that needs $1 billion to break even? We're gonna talk about that. Why does Hollywood do what they do that makes flops? I want to peel back that onion, see what we can come up with our collective, relatively good IQs. So, anyway, so why don't we get started? Let's go with, you know what? Let's do Doctor Who first. What do you think, Jed?
You're determined to make this stream a living hell for me, aren't you?
Yeah, maybe like Machina, that's why.
Ex Machina is great, man. There's no accounting for taste.
Anyway, so a couple days ago, we got news that they cornered Russell T Davies on something and started just haranguing him with questions. And of course, Doctor Who. And it's kind of funny because it's, hey, Russell, Doctor Who is coming back. He says, I literally don't know. Jed, he's the showrunner.
Yeah, if anyone should know, it's him. It's really indicative of how bad the franchise is in a position right now because, yeah, if the showrunner doesn't know it's coming back, that means he's not being informed and it's most likely getting canceled. The decision right now is most likely up to Disney, I think, because the BBC was more than ready to cancel Doctor Who back during the Jodie Whittaker, Chris Chibnall era, and Disney's money is the only thing that infused it with enough life to continue for a couple more seasons. Without Disney, I don't know if BBC gives a shit enough to keep going. So Disney is not exactly on the same playing field as the BBC, so they probably don't feel an obligation to communicate with the BBC or tell them what they're thinking and plan out anything, or just even inform them of a decision that they have made. So that's where I think it is right now, is Disney's made a decision or is about to make a decision.
Oh, they made that decision.
Hasn't deemed to tell the BBC. Because, yeah, if the BBC knew, Russell T Davies would know at this point. So I think it's 100% up to Disney right now, and they're waiting for the war between the land and the sea. That's what I've been saying since season 2 was airing and we didn't get an announcement of season 3. We're going to hear the announcement of what happens with Doctor Who going forward after the war between the land and the sea. Because, yeah, there's a spinoff coming out. They don't want to damage the marketing for that by announcing that Doctor Who's dead. A lot of people know what it is, if that it is dead. If you're paying attention to Doctor Who, you know it's dead. But it is the right decision. I do agree with the decision to wait until after the war between the land and the sea. From a marketing perspective, I'd love to make fun of them and mock them and watch war between the land and the sea utterly fail. But it is the decision that makes sense in my mind, at least.
I agree. Because here we get, he got cornered by Pilot TV. Russell T Davies, showrunner of Doctor Who, has said he is not part of the ongoing conversations, which is also, that's not a good sign. If you're not including the showrunner, if Disney isn't sitting down and saying, well, listen, you run the show, what do you think? If they haven't contacted him, that's a bad sign. Because
really bad sign, especially because he's not just the showrunner. He is the head of the production studio. The production rights have moved from the BBC to Bad Wolf Productions, his production company, and Disney is footing the bill for with the international distribution and whatnot. So he should be even more involved than just as the showrunner. He's a studio head in this discussion. They all have to go to him to actually make the shit. So yeah, if he's not involved, that's really bad.
Yeah. He was asked repeatedly, numerous times, what the status of the BBC's flagship sci-fi show was following the conclusion of its most recent season, the departure of its lead actor, Ncuti Gatwa, and no sign of an imminent renewal from co-funding partner Disney. The response Davies repeatedly said is he did not know what was happening, as conversations relating to its future were out of his hands. And Jed, what you just said, that it shouldn't be out of his hands. He should be consulted. Because and remember, Bad Wolf owned by Sony. That means if they're not even bringing Sony into the conversation, that means they don't want to have him. Now, remember, Disney already has deals with Sony. That may be the fact that Disney doesn't want to make another deal with Sony like they had with Spider-Man. So maybe it's like, you know what? We're happy where we are. Let's not deepen our bonds any further, or Sony gets more money than we do. All that kind of fun stuff. Because let's be honest, the rights to Doctor Who, it's a pie, and many people have a slice now. And airing on Disney Plus already doesn't make any money for anybody. So
a lot of people own pieces of the pie, but no one actually wants to own the pie.
Well, it's made by it's a shit pie. That's the problem. It's
everyone
shit
wants
time.
to stop making it, but
Yeah.
there's discussions of new people getting involved. There are rumors that Netflix is interested in reacquiring the international streaming rights, and it's
For
not going to
dirt
help.
cheap. For dirt cheap.
It'd be really funny. They got the rights to Doctor Who streaming internationally back in I think 2012. It's been a while. It was a long time ago, and then they made it into the worldwide phenomenon. And then they got rid of it. It turned to shit. They can get it again for cheap, and yeah, it's kind of funny how that all worked out.
Oh, it'd be funny.
Yeah, Netflix is instrumental in the success of Doctor Who over the last decade.
Yep, it'd be funny if Netflix got it and got it for cheap, and then just put all of, I would think, New Who, not necessarily Classic Who, because Classic Who's
those
being
rights are different.
all over they, but New Who, we're talking 2005 to present. Wouldn't it be funny if it was another Suits phenomena and massive views on Netflix for the good stuff for Eccleston through Capaldi, and then is like, yeah, great. Because we made that joke a long time ago. They probably get him for cheaper. Say, yeah, you know what? We just want Eccleston to Capaldi. You can keep that stuff right there. Nobody's going to watch that. So why don't you give us a discount even more?
Well, that's where Netflix makes its money, is in the acquiring the rights to stream instead of making something in and of itself. So yeah, I can see them just saying, we want the 10 seasons of New Who, just the 10 seasons, and that's it. And they're going to make a boatload from that because they're going to get it for cheap, and people are going to stream that because there's still love for great Doctor Who.
Oh yeah,
and they're going to win if Netflix does this. If they pull it off, they're going to be very happy with the situation and just make everyone else look bad.
Yep, and we're going to make Davies look bad. You've kind of got me at the worst possible time because I'm not allowed to say what's happening with Doctor Who. I don't know what's happening with Doctor Who. That's fact. Davies said when asked for an update on the show, which has been left on an unplanned hiatus.
What do you mean you're not allowed to tell us what's happening, but you don't know what's happening? So
that's what's happening.
he's caught off guard is the problem there. He has no answer. We've got the spin-off series called The War Between the Land and the Sea coming up, starring Russell Tovey. I don't know when that's on.
We don't even have a release date for that. I know it's this fall, but I assumed he'd at least know when that's coming out.
Yeah.
Well, by the way, that's a terrible title. I don't think I've said that publicly. The War Between the Land and the Sea is a mouthful.
Yeah.
It's not easy to say.
Yeah, it's not. It's just, we don't, I mean, what is it even about? If you're not
Sea Devils versus Unit.
But I'm saying, if you haven't been tuned in, it doesn't tell you anything. It tells you nothing. It doesn't even get you intrigued. And so this is just going to retell the history. So this is bad. And remember Shudi's statement about, I can't do this. It hurts my knees. The jokes.
Yeah, he's acting like he's some ancient man who is no longer able to keep up with the work schedule of 8 episodes every 2 years. Oh my God, poor baby. He's what, 36? And Peter
low 30s.
Low 30s. Yeah, he's a couple of years around the same age as me. Like that's not old.
Well, and Peter Capaldi was in his late 50s.
Dude, Capaldi's rocking on stage right now, man.
He's still killing it. But as Doctor Who, in the role of Doctor Who, he was doing 12, 14 episode seasons, 14 episode years, way more energetic than Ncuti Gatwa. Like Ncuti Gatwa doesn't do a whole lot of running, which is very iconic for the Doctor, at least in New Who. Peter was doing the running. He was doing all the stuff. He was bouncing off the wall with the right amount of energy.
Because he loved being the Doctor. Because he loved
even
being the Doctor.
in his terrible final season, he still delivered.
Yeah, and Ncuti has now recently been shown with his stage play jumping around. And the cat and the meme is, gee, guess those knees don't hurt anymore, do they? So this is a disaster. Doctor Who is in, honestly, I think, the worst mode ever, because even before the Wilderness years, the original Wilderness years, it wasn't hated. People were just bored, right, Jed?
Yeah, no, the end of the Sylvester McCoy era was more apathy than hatred where it is right now. There is just a lot of really weird episodes. The Cheetah People was kind of where it ended with Battlefield, and people were just confused by the direction. It started to go way too campy. The production design decreased a lot. The budget decreased a lot. There was the controversy of the Colin Baker era, and it was just a snowball effect where people just didn't want to keep up with it anymore, because it is a lot of work to keep up with Doctor Who, especially back then when they were getting up to 25 seasons. And so the work started to be outweighed by all the the rough episodes. So yeah, when it left, there was disappointment. but there's still love for the franchise.
No hate.
It still continued forward. Yeah, no hate whatsoever, and it continued on in great forms like Big Finish, like the books. Oh, Big Finish was a little bit later, but the books, and then leading up into the TV movie from the 90s, there was still absolute love and a need for it to come back, a want for it to come back. So after taking 20 years off, bringing him back in 2005, there was a ton of excitement for that. I don't think we'd see that. If we see another 20-year Wilderness Years,
there's hate now.
There's hate, there's anger. The first announcement, answering Steven's question in the chat, the first announcement of a revival in 10 or 20 years would have to start with, we are retconning the Timeless Children. That's the easiest way to do it. There's other stuff that would need to be retconned, like by regeneration as well. But just start with that simple statement, no more Timeless Children.
If
that
you
would get enough interest.
Get rid of Timeless Children, it fixes everything. It fixes everything, because then you immediately, none of it ever happened. And you don't even have to retcon it within Jody and Chin Balls. You start at Capaldi, and we listen, we're not going to go into it. We have many times revealed brilliant ideas that would fix it in a heartbeat. And you don't even, you in one little, and literally within 5 minutes, you could wipe out everything through Chin Balls and RTD 2.0.
And
do it all.
It mostly comes down to Peter Capaldi just regenerating into somebody else. That's the easy fix.
Yeah, and listen, as much as I love one more adventure with Peter Capaldi's doctor, just to give him a proper exit, you could just, and I hate to say this, you could special effects that, you could CGI that shit in there and just revert it and have, I mean, I think one of the best ways out of it, to conclude this, is my spitball idea. I think it's a combination of different ones we've all said, is Rise of the Regeneration was happening. The Doctor is captured by the Master and plugged into a machine, similar to what we've already seen done. And have it all been a simulation because the Master lies. Just like the Doctor lies, the Master lies. And it just could have been one bad thing. And the regeneration then is, once somehow the Doctor breaks free, and then the regeneration completes as he frees himself, and then we have a new Doctor that isn't Jodie, that isn't Shooty, that isn't Tennant Reborn, Tennant 14. You could have somebody new, and then you could just say, yeah, in that second, we just wiped all this garbage out. Because, as we've said repeatedly, the people that would cry, they amount to this much, because we had the ratings to prove nobody watched it.
And especially after a substantial Wilderness year, these people have dory brains, as I often say. They can't even remember what happened in season 2 of Shooty Who. So by the time something like this comes around, they won't even remember that they were diehard fans of the Shooty Gatwa and Jodie Whittaker era, that I don't even think there would be a whole lot of belly aching and crying. More just some people are, oh yeah, weren't there seasons that came after that? More just that type of reaction from the people who aren't diehard fans like us. So
yeah, like the people who claim, the people who are claiming that Shooty's episodes were peak, yeah, they ain't hanging around. They were there for the agenda. They were there for the queerdo nonsense, is what they were there for. And when so, as Jed has said in the past, I'm ready for some Wilderness years. I hope it doesn't take 20. I don't want to be that old of a man to come back to
10.
Doctor Who.
I think 10's a good one.
10 would be all right. I could deal with 10, 8 to 10, something like that. And then somebody brilliant come along. Because listen, if Russell T. Davies could do it, I'm sure there's somebody else out there. And I know I've said in the past that it would need somebody with some sort of legitimacy. Well, what legitimacy did RTD have when he started to do this? None.
All he had was a queer show before that, because that's what his experience is in.
So you know what? I've changed my thoughts on that. Wilderness years, let somebody else with a really good idea and an actual ability to take the pulse of the true fandom and know what we want.
Not J. Michael Straczynski, by the way.
No. JMS just needs to rest on what little of his laurels are left and not do anything ever again. He's
put
done.
on reruns of Babylon 5 and call it a day.
Yeah, first 4 seasons, you're good. Anyway, so there you go. Wilderness years, bring them on. I'm ready for it. Okay, all right. Now we can get more itch stuff where Dre won't be bored.
Well, I do want to just add, since we're talking about the Doctor Who stuff, we do have to address this. Apparently, Doctor Who and Star Trek are now in a shared canon, because in the newest episode of Strange New Worlds, the TARDIS appeared. So I don't even know what to think about that.
It's Strange New World. It's not real Star Trek.
Yeah, this isn't the Kelvin timeline. They've changed the timeline so much that there's the original timeline, the Kelvin timeline, the TV show timeline with what they did in Discovery? STD. Yep. Yeah. And Strange New Worlds is kind of its own thing. We don't need pop singer Klingons or Muppets or Doctor Who being canon to that universe. It's just awful.
I talked about it earlier this week. I clipped it out. Any hope we had for Star Trek, and now we can talk about something we all care about. Any hope we have for Star Trek it's not happening. Skydance is talking to the wrong people when they're announcing more JJ Trek. It's not even Kirk's Trek. It's JJ Trek. It's Kelvin timeline crap. No. You had one job. Cancel Christmas Trek. Don't talk to J.J. Abrams anymore, and hire Terry Matalas to showrun more Star Trek.
But did those make money? I'm trying to remember.
No.
Did those many?
No, I think the first JJ one did all right, but the other two were
the first one did all right because it was like morbid curiosity.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we hadn't seen Kirk on screen since the 90s, and that Generations wasn't.
And people like Chris Pine. Chris Pine.
They had a good cast. Carl Urban as Bones is, I think, one of the
everybody liked
the
Carl
greatest
Urban.
recasts of all. Like, if you have to do it, that was a great choice.
I remember enjoying the first film. I went to the theaters. I remember me and my brother, we went to the theaters to go see it. And I remember enjoying myself, but I remember saying like, this feels more like an action adventure movie than a Space Quest.
It would have been fine if it was just a science fiction action movie that wasn't Star Trek.
Yeah,
that's how I've always described it.
That's what my dad said as well, because he sort of likes those films, but he likes them, but doesn't like them
Star
at the
Trek.
same time.
Apparently, this is controversial, but I think Beyond is the best of the Chris Pine movies, just because it's inoffensive. It doesn't counteract lore like with the Khan stuff in Into Darkness. The Khan stuff.
The first one counteracts lore too. That's a problem.
Well, it restarts the timeline, but it just the Khan stuff and the interstellar transporter. Khan teleported from Earth to fucking Kronos on the other end of the galaxy. That is just unbelievable in the laws of the universe. But yeah, Beyond was just inoffensive. It was kind of like Insurrections. I consider it on the part of that where it's
Limp
just
Bizkit didn't they have Limp Bizkit in music soundtrack on that score?
They did have a little bit of music. They used music
on
as
the
a
motorcycle
weapon.
and Jesus.
They surfed through a drone wave on the Enterprise, and the music from the Enterprise killed the drones. It was dumb. Absolutely. It's not a good movie, but it's inoffensive as compared to the lore breaks in the first two, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, it still doesn't. Kelvin timeline still should not exist.
Oh, no. We should retcon it immediately. Go back to the original timeline and go into the future. I'm sick of prequels. I'm sick of prequels, especially with the advance of technology. The technology in the JJ Trek movies seems far and away superior to anything we'd seen in any previous Star Trek show, including TNG, and Voyager, which is near the end of the timeline that we'd seen at that point. And that's not the way it should be. Just make a Star Trek that took place in, I don't know, the 2600s with that level of technology, with new characters. And
they're doing that. It's called Starfleet Academy. Cursor Trek.
God. It's just so dumb. And for those wondering, no, the answer was not to bring in Quentin Tarantino either. I have no interest in his rated R Star Trek film that he posed, because I'm not a big fan of Quentin Tarantino. I think he's he's a decent director. Like, his movies are fine.
I think he's overrated.
It's the overrating. It's the people who hold up his work as high art that pisses me off.
I'm with you.
And he wouldn't have made an accurate Star Trek film. He would have made a Quentin Tarantino film in space.
Aliens.
I am not a fan of him.
Aliens are with giant feet. And I listen. I don't dislike him. I don't hate his movies outright. I just don't really like them. I just
that's how I feel about most of them. Like, Inglourious Bastards has one really well-written scene with Michael Fassbender, a great performance by Christoph Waltz, and the rest is like, well, what if we had some quirky guys kill Hitler? What? Like, there's not depth to it. People act like it's high art, and that's my problem with it.
And that's my problem with him. That's my problem with him as well, Jed. Everything he does is like, oh my God, it's so high art. Oh yes,
Mhm.
no.
His
Look,
ego has been inflated.
Nobody hates Pulp Fiction more than I do.
Oh, I hate
Pulp
that
Fiction-
movie. I hate that movie.
Pulp
Well,
Fiction
right now,
is one of the
somewhere
worst
people are
films of all
going,
time.
"How dare you to us?"
Yep.
But no, I hate that movie.
Yep.
Of
Pulp
the
Fiction is one of the
Tarantino
worst
films
movies ever
I've
put together.
seen, Pulp Fiction is the worst one.
I mean,
It's
it's not a good
nonsensical.
movie.
Non-linear
The
doesn't
performances are
equal
good.
smart. Yeah,
The
absolutely.
performances are good, but
Yes, the
I hate
performances
the
are
whole
fine.
movie. I hate the whole
Every
movie.
Sam
script-
Jackson's the best part of that movie.
Yes. And once again, that's a scene that goes nowhere. Nothing goes anywhere. I hate a movie about nothing. Nothing
It's
pisses me
Blue
off
Balls
more.
the movie.
Like, what's in the suitcase? I don't know. Like, no, I hate that entire movie. Everything about it. And like even the whole thing. Like, I talked to a good friend of mine years ago. He's like, but the dialogue, no. There's a difference between dialogue and saying words. This film is just people saying words. Dialogue leads to something. Dialogue pushes a story forward. There's just words being said. I hate that so much, and
100%.
people like it's so good. Oh,
It's
no, it's trash.
People are fascinated about it because of the out of order storytelling of it, and
Yeah, that's what I mean. People think non-linear equals intelligent, and there's ways to do non-linear really good. Like Memento, I don't love Memento. It's one of my least favorite Nolan movies, but there was a reason for the non-linear aspect of it. It built into the story, and it was essential to get you in the headspace of this amnesiac. It was done with a purpose. Pulp Fiction's just like, I kind of have 3 or 4 short films that are kind of meh. Let's put the plot in a blender and see what churns out.
Well,
it's nonsense.
Here's where Pulp Fiction lost me. It lost me when you had all the stuff with Travolta in the beginning, and then you went to Bruce Willis and he kills him on the toilet. And then we come back and have more Travolta. That's what I was on, because you know me. It's like, wait a minute. Why do I care about him now? He's already dead.
Yeah,
Why do I
what's
care?
the point?
Good point.
Right. That's my thing. That's my essential argument always against prequels. Why should I care about this where I know where the story goes? There's no tension. There's none of that. But so this is discussion for like a drive-in
I do want to add though. I don't know if you guys saw Tarantino's recent comments from the last couple weeks about the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood sequel.
I believe.
Have you guys seen that?
I saw it, but I didn't actually drill down on it.
So Tarantino's only planning on making one final
more.
movie. He doesn't want to make any more sequels, and it's going to be big, great, the greatest thing ever, of course. But he agreed to have a sequel to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood made centered around Brad Pitt's character that somebody else was going to make. And it was announced that David Fincher is actually going to direct that sequel. And his comments on that were, I consider David Fincher and myself to be the greatest directors in Hollywood right now. So it's just such a great honor to see him carrying off my work, proving that I'm actually the best, basically.
Listen, I'm no Nolan fanboy, but Nolan's a pretty good director.
Yes, Nolan's much better. And to be honest, what has Fincher done in the last few years that's been really great?
I don't know, because remember, I don't know anybody. You got to tell me a movie and then what they did for me to know them.
Because yeah, he did some great movies in the early 2000s, but I can't think of anything of his that he's made in the last decade that's really moved the needle.
Well,
but it's just Quentin stroking his own ego. He made average movies, and people freaked out and said that he was a divine Da Vinci, and he started to believe it.
Listen. Here's the bottom line: he made movies to try and sleep with Uma Thurman. Let's not beat around the bush.
Salma Hayek's feet.
Yeah, well, listen, we know the foot thing. The foot thing.
Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, yeah.
But once again, the premise of that film is fun, but
It started off great. It started great. I don't like that movie either. A movie starts off great and then it's just downhill. I only saw it the one time. Like
the only film of his that I haven't seen that I'm interested in seeing is Django Unchained. That's the one that I hear the consistently good stuff about. I haven't seen it. That's the one that I'm sort of interested. Kill Bill, from what I've heard, is just violence.
Oh, Kill Bill Volume 1 is fine.
Kill Bill, second one loses the narrative completely. Yeah, I don't dislike Kill Bill Volume 1 because there is a story there and it's following it. And the choreography is fantastic.
Yes.
But the second one, the narrative just falls apart.
It just falls apart, and then he just gets in his own way, and then the whole build up to Bill is a waste of time.
Listen,
It's a waste.
R.I.P.
David
David Carradine, but man, that's a letdown when it was David Carradine was Bill. That was a letdown.
What a waste.
That was a
What
letdown.
what a waste. There's 2 films building to this dude.
Over.
And that's it. One combo, and then he meets Jesus. Get out of here, man. Like, what's the point of the build up?
All the fighting that all the other ones did with all of them, or the grueling, or even the fight with Daryl Hannah, which was just nasty with all that stuff. The fight with Bill is a little talking, over. Take the little girl.
Yep. What a waste.
All right. We this, I feel like we could go longer and longer, but we do have the rest of the show to get to. So speaking of movies and box offices, let's deal with our Sunday privilege as it lead into other discussions. First of all, let's pay respects to Weapons. As we talked about a lot, just a follow from last week. It's in profit now. It's made about $40 million in profit. Good for Weapons.
That's how you
as we said. As we said last week, love it or hate it or not care about it like I do, this is where you need to go. Small budget, make a little bit of win here, a little bit of win there, get things back to where they need to be.
Okay? Well, and the goal to an absolute success is usually make enough money to make enough another movie. At this point, the amount of profit they're making is about equivalent to the budget of this film. So I think they can absolutely call this film a great success.
Dre's
100%.
favorite phrase, justify the existence.
Oh, without question. Justifies its existence. And this is week 2, right? This is
week 2.
This is week 2?
Week 2. Let's take a look.
This is a what's that? Resounding success.
Only a 43% drop off.
That's incredible.
That's what I'm saying.
That's
and they added theaters.
Time.
They added theaters.
That's fantastic. I need to see this movie just to participate in this. This is really
you want to
impressive.
see it for like just the objectivity part of it for film purposes, cinema purposes. Yeah,
I want to participate in a great event like this.
And this is R-rated, isn't it? This is
horror movie. Horror movie.
So, R-rated horror film.
This could have gone easily in other directions. So I don't know if you guys know this, but this film was originally going to be made in 2020-ish, but it got delayed because of the writer's strike and Coof and whatnot. But yeah, Pedro was originally going to play Josh Brolin's character before the writer's strike delayed everything, and there was a conflict in his schedule. So I think the writer's strike has now justified its own existence.
I'm inclined to agree.
Yeah.
Anytime there's less Pedro, another angel gets its wings.
They ended up recasting the entire movie after that.
Pretty much, yeah.
So
I think the female Silver Surfer, she was originally attached to the film the whole time, I think. But yeah,
I
pretty
believe
much
you're
everyone
right.
else
I believe
was
you're correct.
replaced.
Yeah. So this is just showing proper respect to Weapons, which, as we said last week, is a step in the right direction for making movies again.
Absolutely.
Step in the right direction.
This should be the model going forward for a few years.
Yeah, just make small movies, make a little money here and there. Don't swing for the fences every time. And it's also it hurts me a little bit to say this because I do love grand, I do love epic, but I'd rather see it on television than in movies. Large scale storytelling, multiple seasons, long stories. I don't want to see things crammed into a movie. I want to see it in a TV series. So let's leave movies to be essentially the episodic thing that they're supposed to be. Go in for your hour and a half to 2 hours, have some enjoyment, and walk away with something that you might want to then come back to and own at a later time. So there it is. Other than that, let's give the eulogy for the summer box office here. As expected, dinosaurs have won.
Okay, they did cross 8.
They crossed 8. It has won. It made several $100 million. It is still in the theaters, bringing in nothing, essentially now. Yeah. It's bringing in nothing, but it doesn't matter. It won.
It won, but I would still classify it as a disappointment because it's not making a whole lot of money. I don't think its profit is enough to even fund a sequel.
But they're gonna.
Probably not.
Oh, absolutely.
They're gonna.
They will. Now, and remember, this movie is complete dog slop. It's a terrible movie. It was bad. Yeah.
They've been bad since after Jurassic Park 1. All right.
Yes.
All these movies have been bad.
Yes.
Lost World is shit.
3
is actually better than Lost World, in my opinion.
They butchered the book because the book shouldn't. Lost World is a good book, but it should not be made into a movie. Is the problem. But they had to keep milking it. And of course, at the time, Michael Crichton was still alive. He was like, yeah, pay me the money. I'll take your money. Go ahead, change it. I don't care.
Yeah, there's only one good Jurassic Park movie, and that's the first one.
And it's not even a perfect movie because they did change shit from the book. So
sure, it wasn't even perfect, but it was still good. The Lost World was a disaster, and then Jurassic Park 3, my goodness, I don't know what it is. A wet fart. Now it's inoffensive, I guess, but it's still a wet fart. And all the Jurassic World, the Jurassic World movies, they're all bad.
Yeah.
Period. Full stop. They're all bad. But they keep printing billions outside of
not anymore.
This one. Yeah, outside of this one.
With the exception
me
of
wrong.
Rebirth, I thought the world movies just got worse and worse and as they went on. I think Rebirth is the best world, but that's like Adam said, you're comparing the kids on a short bus.
Yeah. So I mean, and this is one that I got wrong because I thought there was enough juice in the tank to get it to $1 billion. I thought people were still going to buy into it. They bought into it enough to make it a profit. It made about $200 to $300 million in profit. Great, but not $1 billion. So I got this one wrong. You know what I didn't get wrong? Baby steps. 451. Right in just inside my window right now. 450 to 550. Everybody that said this movie would make more than 600, more than 700, you're all wrong, and I'm smarter than you.
Yeah.
The people saying this was going to be $1 billion movie on
who
opening
was
weekend,
saying
stands
need to crawl in a cave and just never come out into light of day again.
Yeah,
67, 59, 44. It only made $8 million domestic last week.
It's
and
are we into single million days yet?
Let's
Weekdays?
see. Let's see. Yeah.
That's when it's over. That's a real easy sign to know that your movie's dead.
Yeah, exactly. So this is, as we've said over and over again, we're not going to get into this now because this is a conversation to have in the next few months as we see the next round of projects come out. But because I don't want to focus on the MCU today, that is not a topic of discussion. But must be said, this is blood in the water. This is a massive danger sign that the MCU is in serious trouble. Because let's be honest, Fantastic Four, compared to the other movies the MCU put out this year, it is the least offensive.
I think it's the least offensive we've gotten in quite a while.
Yeah.
It's one of the best we've gotten in phases 4, 5, and 6. And that's not saying much.
Bad movie. And we talked about it ad nauseum several times. But compared to Black Fall and Captain America, I didn't see Thunderbolts, but I didn't want to see Thunderbolts. Compared to all the TV shows, compared to the stuff that came years before, like just said, it's the least offensive for a long time. But least offensive is not going to save your IP and your franchise right now. It's not going to. And you're in trouble. So Doomsday has got a lot of problems. And it starts right here. And I can't wait for it. Can't wait. So I just wanted to ring it in here. 451. I said 450 to 550. I'm right on the nose of this one. I was boom. And it does make my equation true. Can we agree my exhaustion equation has now come true? People are just exhausted for the MCU. It's not superhero exhaustion, it's MCU exhaustion. Too many subpar projects.
So many types of fatigue just piling on each other. Because I have superhero fatigue. I absolutely believe that some people have that. But there's MCU fatigue as well. There's just bad movie fatigue. There's Hollywood fatigue. It's just so many people don't care anymore.
Mm-hmm. Now, go. You want to change, Trey?
Yeah, I agree with Jed on that. It's a combination of so many different levels of fatigue that I don't think we can even quantify with a number. With after years of, at this point, saturating the market with garbage, people don't want to take a chance on this trash anymore. And heck, nor should you want to do that. Bad movies in general is absolutely contributed to that. The idea of going to the movies is no longer an event.
Mm-hmm.
No, going to the theaters is no longer an event. The term blockbuster no longer exists anymore. It's not real. Back in the day, when I used to go to the Lincoln Theater on Connecticut Avenue, it was literally wrapped around the block. Those used to be blockbusters. We would all go there and see whatever movies coming out, Star Wars, whatever. We will all go there, and that's what everybody in the city is going to the movie to go and see it. that no longer exists. The idea of a blockbuster doesn't exist, and these movies have to make $1 billion, like we talked about before. In order to justify their existence, they have to make $1 billion, and it's just not in the cards anymore. They've made it their business to destroy the market, and they've succeeded. No one wants to go see movies. No one wants to go see MCU anymore. You've ruined everything. Congratulations, you played yourselves.
Dre, I want you to put a pin in that exact thought.
Sure.
Because I definitely want to come back to that exact
Sure.
exact thought in terms of what they did.
Yeah,
because here's the thing: when you see Factor 4, are we necessarily disappointed that this movie was bad?
No,
nobody's disappointed. No, nobody's disappointed. But you know what is disappointing for those of us that didn't like it? Superman. There was disappointment for a lot of us that because we want to enjoy Superman, one of the 3 most recognizable superheroes in the world, behind Spider-Man and Batman.
Yep,
we wanted this, and this movie is controversial. I've said it over and over again.
Sure.
Half the people love it, the other half hate it.
Yep.
And when you have that literal breakdown, am I wrong when I say that? It's literally half and half.
It is half and half, which is unfortunate because, like when you have a character such as Superman that is now looked at as a middle ground, like there is no middle ground, whether you is a like or dislike, it's sad because it's an easy. Superman is the easiest joint you can do. Give us a happy Superman. Give us a nice little story. Focus on Superman and let us cheer for the dude. That's it. That's all we want out of Superman, and they couldn't give us that. So yeah, I agree. It's either you hate it or you like it. Now, unfortunately, the people that I've come in contact with that like it are just stands. Unfortunately, like there are some that like that look at it objectively. Like people that just looking at the film as objectively as a film. I look at that more as somebody that's a critic. I don't really look at that as somebody that's like looking to like it or dislike it. They're just looking to relay information, like myself or Jed. We're looking to relay information when we go and look at these type of films. But the people that actually like it is usually like, oh my God, did you see this one scene that was on the screen for 4 seconds? Like, it's just not it.
That has been the thing for the past several days because it released digitally on Friday, which essentially ends whatever real money is left to make in the theater. Because now piracy takes a hold, digital takes a hold, and everybody's whoever wants to get your hands on it. I don't think anybody's spending $20 though to own it digitally. You're insane.
No, that would be insanity.
I mean, if you do like it, you're waiting till you get your physical copy is what you're going to do.
Yeah.
But we have it right here to get to the point of the numbers before we get to where I really want to go with this. What you have here, 592. Let's look at our box office as the beginning of our discussion. What is a flop? Right here. It only made $5 million domestically this week in its 5th week. It's 35-day run. 35 days. When you look at this, Jed, here you love it. It dropped under $1 million 3 times this week.
That's not
it's
good.
an absolute failure at this point. And I actually saw someone trying to use these numbers to justify James Gunn's decision to put it on digital and leave it in theaters. They were saying, oh, it only had a 34% drop in the weekend. The digital didn't harm it at all. It's still killing it. And then I look at this and see $800,000 being made in the entire US of A on a Thursday night. That's embarrassing at this point. 35 days, they shouldn't be getting that low yet.
Mm-hmm.
It's embarrassing at this point.
That's my point, Jed, though. At 35 days, that's just a couple days over a month. And this is all you bring in. If this was a true success with people going back and rewatching it over and over again, you don't just bring in $340 million. Domestically, you're not just bringing in this little bit here. That means it's truly a success. People are going back to watch it, but nobody did for its current total of 592. Now, this next screen I'm bringing up is a little outdated because we have these numbers, but let me make my point with it. Somebody trying to tell us, Hollywood Handle, among many, trying to compare it to the release of Iron Man in 2008. Iron Man made $585 million in 0.8 million in that economy, where more people were going to the movies and tickets were cheaper. Superman in the current day made 586.7, where less people going and tickets are more expensive. But then here's our favorite word, as Jed has expressed to me in conversation recently. People want to forget and ignore the word inflation because it's a pesky little word that brings up a whole lot of problems when you're trying to push propaganda. I did the math. I asked Google to do the math for me because I'm incapable of it. I don't have calculator brain. I can't do this stuff. So when I asked Google to adjust Iron Man for inflation, what do you guys want to know what the number I got was when I asked it?
Thinking 850 maybe.
Oh, you're very close, Trey. $805 million.
Hey, not bad.
God, see, Trey's got a calculator brain. I respect.
Little something.
Working there. So, compared in current day inflation, Iron Man 2008 made $805 million. That's not a flop. On its very low budget at the time, which they had barely any money to script together, they bet everything they had on this movie. Otherwise, the rights would have been lost and reverted to like a bunch of different people. They made, to use the term, bank. They made money. It justified its existence. It paid for Thor. It paid for Captain America, and it got Disney interested enough to buy them out after Avengers. Okay, that's what happened. Superman, even if you play by their retarded metrics, their fake metrics of 225 plus 100 for a break even of 625, 650, 650, yeah, 650. They still lose money right now because here we are. We're in my window still of 550 to 650 for Superman in the box office. Some people are going to say digital sales and this and that are going to fluff it up.
That doesn't exist. Yeah, that's not real.
Box office run will land now between 550 and 650, just like I said it would. Other people who said it's going to get over 700 million, guess what? I'm going to say it again. I'm smarter than you. I understood this better than you. This is a flop. And that takes us to our conversation I want to have now about this. What is a flop? As I understand it, if something doesn't make money, are there varying levels of flop? Sure. We've had those discussions. But if something doesn't make money, it falls to flop category. This movie, by their metrics, is going to lose at least $50 million. By the real metrics. Minimum. By the real metrics, 363 plus 150 to $200 million marketing times 2, it's really going to lose between $400 and $500 million.
Yeah.
Because
I'm leaning more towards those numbers as well.
Because when you don't hit break even, the money that is the difference between what you made and what you got there is that lost profit that you have no way to pay back the work you made. Is that correct?
That's how it works.
Yep,
okay.
That's the easy definition.
Listen. Non-calculator brain just trying to make sure he understands this. All right? Just trying to make sure I understand this. I'm a writer. I'm not a mathematician. So that's a flop.
Yeah.
But we've been told for 5 weeks now, this is a success.
So there's a couple of there's a level of ignorance that's involved in people saying these things, because some people when they hear flop, they hear bomb. Some people hear bomb. Now there is a difference between bombing at the box office and flopping at the box office. A bomb is let's just take a simple
Snow White.
The Marvels. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. Well, yeah, Snow White. Snow White is a bomb. The Marvels is an absolute first ballot Hall of Fame bomb. There is absolutely nothing redeemable. There is no argument to be had. You lost hundreds of millions of dollars, undisputedly. A flop is usually a film that has, or usually starts with traction, not even that it makes any money, but has enough money to make it look as if it's competitive with its budget. That is a flop. You still don't break even. You still don't make money, but it doesn't look as bad. That is the difference between a flop and a bomb. So when people hear the word flop, they equate because they're thinking bomb. That's what they think. And not to mention, there's a propaganda machine talking about like, oh,
yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
You
Yeah,
know,
we'll get to that
that's
second.
different. But as far as definitions are concerned, a lot of people equate bomb and flop in the exact same verbiage,
That's
and
fair.
that's why it has to be a clarification. As
Yeah. No, that's a great point because the idea of these definitions being the same is incredibly prevalent. I can 100% attest to seeing people equate the two, and it's ignorance. It comes down to ignorance, like you said, whether or not that's just a normie who doesn't know any better, who can't fathom these types of budgets involved, these real types of numbers. That's one type of ignorance, and that's an understandable type of ignorance. But there's the cognitive dissonance. There's the intentional, willful ignorance. A lot of these stands who, like with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny when it came out, they willfully ignored all evidence that said, no, equating the budget of the movie, equaling that at the box office does not make it a success. No matter how many people told them otherwise, no matter if these people, they themselves had previously said, admitted to that knowledge ahead of time, it didn't matter. These people have chosen their reality and they will not accept any evidence to the contrary. And I think that's a damaging sort of ignorance. It's damaging to a society. It's damaging to their psyche. I feel bad for these people who cannot accept anything that isn't their version of reality. If the truth is so devastating to you about a comic book movie, then you have serious problems in your life that need to be addressed. But yeah, it's a battle of ignorance when it comes to everyone calling Superman a success. And there's different types of it. Just like you said, there's varying levels to flops. There's varying levels to bombs. There's varying levels to the ignorance. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't listening to the people trying to educate them, both the normies who just don't care and aren't listening to the intentionally ignorant people who are fighting against us. So all we can do is try to help educate these people, try to inform them about how all this stuff works. But at a certain point, when does it matter?
Now,
it doesn't seem to make any difference. We've been fighting this battle for 5 years, it feels like. Just every time there's a flop, we're fighting the battle of definitions. We're fighting to tell people, yeah, theaters take money. I know it's crazy, but theaters want a cut of the profits too. That's shocking, right? And people being like, no, I heard one time from my mama that popcorn makes theaters all the money. Yeah, that's true. Popcorn makes theaters a shit ton of money.
You actually got that argument once thrown against you, didn't you?
I
know
did.
you did.
I did. And it's like, I worked at a theater when I was 16. I'm 70 now. And back then, theaters don't take any money whatsoever. Maybe 1% of the profits. And I just fucking Googled it right then, taught a ton of evidence and said, no, the average is 40 to 60%, which is why we average that out to 50. Theaters take profit. These people don't understand, the willfully ignorant ones, they don't understand how capitalism works. They're so obsessed with being anti-capitalist that they've never actually put in the effort to...
It's all gross with these people.
Gross versus net. They don't understand expenses. They don't understand costs. They don't understand that people have their fingers in this pie. That even with profit, let's say that profit gets divvied up to a lot of people. You have to pay your actors. You have to, the actors' back ends, not their upfront costs. The percentage that they get, you got to pay back loans in a lot of cases. You got to pay producers. The studio takes their cut. So even just making money doesn't mean you make a whole lot of money, because that money, that profit quickly dissipates. So that's why it's so important, the way Dre says it, to justify your own existence, these films, because that money has intended places to go. And it's going to take a while of profit to just generate pure profit that has no intended destination. And these people can't understand that.
You both brought up...
It was the same when Doctor Strange 2 came out and everyone was like, oh, it's a major success. It made $870 million. Yeah, but then it fell off a cliff after the first week came out and it never recovered. And technically speaking, it's actually a bit of a mess. It was basically a bomb when it originally came out. So that's what they're forgetting.
That falls into the category of the phrase we use, just enough to buy somebody a sandwich.
Yeah.
It's still a flop. It made something, because we don't know for real. It's like we say that about Doctor Strange, that about several other movies. We don't know for real, but we will surmise it made enough to buy a sandwich. But both Jed and Dre, you both brought up a point within your excellent breakdowns of this. The pushing of a narrative, the pushing of the propaganda. Dre brought that up. Jed, you said we're fighting against it. That's the thing. This is what we're fighting against right here. the propaganda, especially with Superman. Have we ever seen a movie in the recent years that had such a massive propaganda machine to try and tell us, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe what you're seeing.
I can't think of anything that comes close. The one I always bring up is Indiana Jones, but as soon as that argument was broken down of the mainstream access media and Stan's all saying, hey, it made $300 million. That's what the budget was. Hey, it's a success. There was a successful pushback against that, and people started to admit, okay, yeah, it didn't make money. There hasn't been anything like this where it's doggedly determined opposition to reality. This has been going on for 35 days at this point, and I don't think we've seen anything that's gone this long before people start admitting that it's constant. We're starting to see some pushback against the movie itself, though. Now that it's on digital, it's that weird phenomenon. When a movie comes out, it's the greatest thing ever. When it comes out on digital, people realize, oh yeah, The Eternals was actually shit. We're starting to see that a little bit.
Well, but here's why. So the phenomena has been going on where they're trying to tell you this scene was banger, this scene was hot, this scene had aura, it was kick, and all that kind of crap. All the lingo the kids use these days that makes my brain hurt.
Hey, it's Rizzy, mate.
Oh God! That just caused me to have a stroke for a second.
I'm the only Gen Z person here, and I fucked up how to use that Gen Z language correctly.
It sounded like you did it right. It sounded terrible.
It sounded right to me. I know it had Adam. It had to be right because my brain did not translate it at all. So it must have been done right.
Yeah. So there's been this constant thing of this looks great, all that kind of crap, by showing clips, and ever since Friday. There's been, and I haven't saved any because they're all over the place. You can't scroll down your time without seeing them. Here's this scene from the movie. Here's that scene from the movie. Now it's in the HD version, not just our commercial clip. It's constant, and it's these same accounts. And like Jed said, there are these accounts now that seem to exist constantly. There's this one account that claims to cover global box office, but it seems all they do is push Superman, saying it's going to cross this. We'll let you know when it crosses this threshold. Oh, it's still flying with great legs because it made $1 million on this day. Yeah, you know what it was talking about? It was talking about the $1 million right here on August 11th. Yeah, guess what? It wasn't $1 million. It dropped under when it got adjusted.
They're still saying it's going to end its run between 650 and 700.
That's impossible.
Is just laughable at this point. And
look at this. There's nobody left to watch this.
This is what I mean. Intentional ignorance. They have formed their reality in their minds. They formed that reality the moment they watch the movie, and the real, true reality must conform to that, or it must be rejected. This is mental illness. This isn't just, oh, I like the movie a lot, and I'm a little annoying about how much I like it. This is legitimate, and I believe diagnosable mental disorders here. And the Iron Man, you keep bringing it up. It's so disingenuous to compare those two because Iron Man actually made profit, but more importantly, the deck was stacked against Iron Man. Nobody fucking knew who Iron Man was. He wasn't an A-list name like Superman.
Facts.
What was Iron Man? Where was Iron Man? C or D at that point? C or D?
Depends on who you ask. In my personal opinion, D-lister. In my personal opinion,
famous.
D-lister.
Everybody knows Iron Man, but not. Yeah. You're not knocking down doors. Now you knock down doors for Iron Man stuff.
Absolutely.
Now.
Well, and superhero content wasn't the juggernaut back then that it is today. Yes, we had some great superhero movies like the first Spider-Man movies, the first X-Men movies, and the same year this came out, The Dark Knight, which is a little after this. But we also had stuff like X-Men The Last Stand, I believe, came out before this, and we soon got X-Men Origins Wolverine. And Spider-Man 3 is about the same time as well. There were flops. There were things that people were fighting against. And Blade 3 at that point. There was a willingness to call out bad films at this era, and superhero content was a mixed bag. It wasn't a guaranteed success at this point. So Iron Man was a major risk, and it paid off. It had a budget of $140 million. It made like $200 million worth of profit, if not more. Why are we comparing these things? It's so disingenuous. They're just doggedly trying to force, like I keep saying, their version of reality to fit the facts. They're changing the facts to support their version of events, and it's sickening and it's depressing, honestly, that so many people have been brought into this shared delusion. This is schizophrenia on a mass scale.
Yep. I mean, you say that. Let me just bring this up because I want to make sure I get the right one. It's in my replies. We say this all the time, and I hate saying this phrase because I mostly believe it when I say this, But you get stuff like this, like Superman, and the people that are obsessing and loving over it. Here's the thing. And I'm looking for it. I'm trying to find it. It's not here unless they deleted it and I don't see it. Anyway, point is this. No, here it is right here. Sorry, here it is right here. Okay, so right here, this person. This scene, and when the score kicks in, to me, that's cinema. Talking about the frenetic mess that was the black hole in the alternate dimension.
There's too much going on
and
here.
The alien baby.
And here's Metamorpho's powers in this movie are just ridiculous. He makes the sun in the palm of his hand. It's done for. He's more powerful than Superman. There's no Justice Gang that's needed anymore. They set him up to be god level powers.
But here I focused on this one and all the things I saw, and my response was there. No, it's slop. You like slop, that's fine. You can like slop all you want, but just admit it's slop. This scene is actually the best representation of the insanity that was this movie. A frenetic, chaotic mess. There's, like Jed just said, too much going on. Too many people here. Unbelievable, even for a superhero movie. And at the same time, what score?
I don't know what he's talking
Nobody
about.
knows what this score is. They claim it's great and epic. There is no score to this movie. It's completely forgettable.
Can you describe the plot that led up to this moment and just the plot of this moment without sounding like a psychopath?
No. When I was sitting in the theater and then they had the black hole river that's sitting down there on the ground. I'm sitting there like, did I walk into the right theater? Like, I'm like, when did the Saint come on? Like, what the heck am I watching? And then when he got to the black hole, that apparently is always sitting there. So hold on, Moses. So that joint should be sucking in everything.
Where's the event
all time.
horizon? Where's the time dilation? Where is all of it?
No idea what's going on in this scene. I don't know what's happening. I don't know how the freeze breath pushes. I have no clue. You're blowing into a black hole. That's a vacuum.
It's not going to do anything.
It's not going to do anything.
And it's probably going to suck you in.
Yes.
It's probably going to have the reverse effect.
I was so confused.
The anti-proton 8-bit river that they kept setting up was like, it'll disintegrate a person in 2 seconds. We see like 20 people fly into it, and it's a blocky river. It has no impact on anything.
And meanwhile, I'm looking at poor Crypto then thinking, what's the poor dog doing? Other than just waving his paws around uselessly? Like, seriously.
I don't care about digital fucking dog. I don't care about digital fucking dog. Point is this. This scene, this type of reaction in the past 72 hours now has been replicated all over social media where they're just replaying all these scenes. And it's this, as we said, this continuous 35-day propaganda to tell us it's not a flop. And it all started with the liar-in-chief himself, James Gunn.
That dude's a hack.
James Gunn, who's
Warner
done
Brothers
nothing
should be
but
pissed
lie.
at him for his Twitter account, if nothing else.
He just lies. And he goes out in the interview the other day and basically says, and I mentioned that I talked about this earlier this week, oh, we're putting it on digital release early so that you can get ready for Peacemaker Season 2, which is the greatest thing I've ever made, by the way. That's James Gunn's words. Peacemaker 2.
Way to sell Superman.
Is the greatest thing ever. And you need to watch Superman to go into Peacemaker 2. And oh, guess what? I'm skipping ahead of all the other stuff I said. I'm now working on the next Superman movie.
That dude. What did Jed say? Schizo? Yeah, I'm going to have to agree. And I have a lot of issues with the scenes that people are sharing of these films. Yeah, of course, that let's just take that space, whatever, black hole, whatever that made my head hurt.
Yeah.
I remember when we used to slice out scenes that were impactful that everybody and their mama can remember and stand out. Like let's just take, for instance, let's just take one of my favorite movies of all time, The Dark Knight. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. It's not even because I'm a fan of Superman. I mean, a fan of Batman. It's because the film is just that good. Now, there's a scene that everybody can remember, and that is when when Batman used the Bat Cycle and then flips the truck.
Yeah,
everybody and their mother knows that scene, and there was actually a score. You know what that score was? Silence. Absolute silence on that scene. Everybody knows it. Everyone remembers it because it was legitimately impactful because of what was happening in the story. If that truck flip happened in the story and the whole time there was a meteorite flying over, and then somebody's mama was giving birth at the same time, and some lady was cutting off chicken heads and trying to make dinner, is so much crap going on that the flipping of the truck doesn't even matter.
Your eye doesn't know where to look when it's crazy. And if a well-directed, a well-written, directed scene, a talented director will want your eye to be drawn to something. In that scene alone that we just saw, that chaotic thing, which represents the movie whole, you got to look at Superman. You got to look at the dumb dog. You got to look at Metamorpho. You got to look at the black hole. You got to look at this. You don't know where to look.
The demon baby.
Demon baby.
Demon
going
baby.
like this. Where are you looking? No. And I am no director. I'm never going to be a director. That is not a talent I have. But even I understand, watching enough movies in my time, a scene, the imagery should draw your attention to a single point where you can encapsulate what's going on. Whether it's action, keep you focused on an action scene. There's too much going on. James Gunn is not as good as people want to pretend he is. In this movie, as we have kind of been discussing here, this propaganda to tell you it's not a flop, it's been so over the top, so insane that a lot of messages have been lost here. There's no room to have a real discussion, because when you try to have discussions with people who really love this movie, they just start yelling and crying at you. They just want to scream at you. Oh, you're being too hard on it. Oh, it was still fun. Why don't you want to have fun? No, I want to have fun, but I want to respect what I'm watching, or at least acknowledge it's dumb fun, and then be like, okay, it's dumb fun. I'm just going to look at it this way. To me, this movie wasn't even dumb fun because it's taking itself so seriously. There's another clip going around out there during the "I'm just like everybody else" speech, and he's walking, and every time he moves, the sun lens flares from his head. That's terrible. But the defenders are saying, don't you understand? It's showing that he's getting his strength from the sun and he's healing, even though he's not even healing on screen.
No, it's a Jesus halo is what he was going for as well. It's so superficial.
Broken. It's broken. They want to say, that's my Superman and that's my Lex Luthor. They are list putting Nicholas Hoult as the best Lex Luthor of all time right now. There are lists going out there. Oh, this is track here. This propaganda to tell us it's not a flop is the likes of which I've never seen. Just like when Dre said years ago he had never seen anything the like of the Barbie marketing propaganda went on with that. This now that I've never seen anything like this. The way people are so desperate to tell us this movie is a success.
We also have to deal with, this is a TikTok movie generation, film for this generation, because the attention span of the average child these days, or the average young adult, is so short that I think that's why these films are so chocked with a million things to look at, to hope that you don't lose focus. But unfortunately for the movie studios, the young people who are the TikTok generation aren't a big group of people. They can't move the needle at the box office, and that's what we're seeing here. And it's the same people, the same mindset. The TikTok is the world. These people think that TikTok actually moves the world, that it changes reality, and it doesn't. TikTok is not a relevant platform in the grand scheme of things, and it's just sheer delusion.
To bring this back up again, just to show it right here, the numbers again. We saw what a movie looks like in the recent years when people go back and see it over and over again, when it has real fan base. Top Gun Maverick, $700 million domestic, because people went back and saw that movie over and over again. Same with Avengers, Spider-Man. Same with the successful Spider-Man No Way Home, Infinity War, Endgame. Those made a lot of money. People went back over and over again. Absolutely. People claimed they were going to see this movie over and over and over again in these intervening weeks. These numbers right here tell a different story.
Yeah.
And at the same time, this is also the story of why it's on digital after only 35 days.
That's still a crazy thing.
Because I mean, Drake, there's nobody spending money on this movie in the theater anymore.
But here's the problem. Like, okay, like I said, Adam, you and I are from a different time.
Mm-hmm.
We understand what VHS and DVD used to do,
Mm-hmm.
and how that would save films that would more or less flop in the theaters, but have a new life on home video.
3 months later.
Yes. 3 months later, get a new life on home video and make unteen millions. And that's how these other films raise the roof.
How many times do you walk into a Blockbuster to get that new release movie in the, for rent, and the wall is empty? It's just the box with nothing behind it. You're like, and you stand there for maybe 20 minutes hoping somebody's going to return it so you can get your copy and go home and watch it that night with somebody.
Exactly. And let's just remove that part of the industry, because since that part of the industry doesn't even exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I put it out on digital? I'm not gonna make 1 red cent.
Yo ho.
Oh, Captain Jack fitting to collect without question. But as a studio head, whatever, I'm not putting this joint on streaming nothing. If I'm going to take this joint out of the theaters, this joint's going straight to Blu-ray, DVD, something in which I can recoup some cash.
Back to something you said earlier, though. Now let's transition this to our next conversation. Something you said earlier, Dre. Why do they do this? Oh, because they destroyed the physical media market.
That's true.
They destroyed it. So I bring back to this question now. The second part of this discussion. We've tried our best to try and talk about what is a flop, why is a flop, this and that. How Superman, James Gunn Superman 2025, whatever you want to call it, why it's so unusual in everything it's been done to work so hard to not be a flop. I think that leads us to our next question. They spent all this money. They require a very high break even to recoup that money to justify its existence. Why spend all that money to have such a high threshold to make money? I asked that question now. I mean, thoughts?
And that's a question that we've been asking for years now. Like, the budgets of these films, it's impossible to recoup your cash. These films cost too much money. If the idea, let's take Dial Up of Destiny, okay? Let's just take that, because we, like, early on when we just start seeing those numbers with the reshoots, and then with the production budget and then the advertising budget, we knew this joint had to make $1 billion to break even.
Yep.
It wasn't even hyperbole. It wasn't even guesswork. That budget was like $500 million when it was all said and done.
Yep.
I need $1 billion to break even. I'm going to say that one more time. I need to make $1 billion to break even. These are impossible numbers to maintain any business. The idea that, hey, I'm going to take, let's take Superman. So we're going to go lowball. Let's just say it's $350 million. Let's just lowball. $350 million total. That means I'm staring down the barrel of $700 million to break even. That's nonsense numbers all the same. Nonsense. It's impossible to do well in a market like that. It's impossible. It can't be done. So the idea that, like, hey, why do they keep doing this? I have no freaking idea. No clue.
I have a thought. As you're saying this, here's where my thought is going. Because
I've got nothing.
All right. Jed, do you think, and because now we're talking about these brilliant people in Hollywood, it's a fantasy that they put together over the past several years that we would be a captive audience for anything, that they could replicate Disney's $1 billion trend for the 20 teens. And the reason they do this is because two things. Here's where my thoughts are going. There's two things. Their fantasy is this, that they could manufacture an audience for these things. And two, that they really think we're all slop drinking consumers, that we have no thought other than, please, sir, may I have some more because I'm so desperate for what you're giving us. That's where my head is at right now after what Dre said. Is there any relevance to what I'm thinking there?
No, they have an inflated sense of their own importance. They believe that they have the talent to change history on a dime, that their art would change civilization like the greatest, like Da Vinci. They really have this sense of ego because they had those successes, those billion-dollar movies. I do unfortunately blame the success of Marvel at its height for the current budgets.
I agree.
Because we saw so many movies who were able to cost several $100 million and recoup it in spades, with Endgame being a great example. The budget of that was at least $400 million.
Oh, massive.
At
Massive.
least. And it made $2.whatnot billion.
Yeah.
And when you have that much success in a row, you start to have an ego. Like we were talking about with Quentin Tarantino. He's an average director, an average writer that people inflated, gave him a lot of success. So he started to sniff his own farts and realize, maybe I am God. And then he fails in the execution going forward, is my dream. And I think that's what we're having here, is people had some success. They were told that they were geniuses by their mamas growing up, and they were told too many nice things, and they were never told, maybe you're not good enough. Maybe
The participation trophy generation.
The participation trophy generation. There's no need to excel. Competition is dying, and competition breeds excellence. We're not seeing these studios compete like they used to. There was a time when a studio would have an idea, the other studio would try to replicate that immediately. We saw this so many times with White House Down versus Olympus Has Fallen, Armageddon versus Deep Impact. They would try to make the same movie at the same time to beat their competitors. And we usually have a definitive winner. I think Olympus Has Fallen is the unequivocal winner out of that competition. The other one is a little bit more debatable, but when you had competition, it forced excellence to rise to the top. We're not seeing that. Everyone's getting participation trophy. DC's trying to compete, but they're way too late to the game, and they're not bringing their A talent. And Marvel isn't bringing their A talent either, so they're actually on par with each other right now. Superman and Fantastic Four, they're pretty equal. Superman's the bigger failure, but it's still made more gross, like we've been talking about. So
and it's it's the same with TV. TV budgets are absolutely insane. And the only time I ever remember seeing TV budgets that crazy before this started happening was Hornblower. That was like £1 billion, something like that originally. That was the expensive TV show at that particular time, and that was just a period piece. And you look at all this now, which is $500 million or whatever, and that's movie money. You don't need that much to make a TV show, and especially a period drama.
Yeah, everything's getting inflated because they think they can get away with it, because they think they are the geniuses of this generation. And like you said, Dragon Lady, this applies to TV as much as anything. The Disney Plus TV shows are getting $200 million budgets, and Netflix is just as bad. The Stranger Things season 5 budget, I'd be shocked if it was less than $250 million at this point. That's unsustainable, and they don't realize it. They don't have the intelligence to recognize streaming services don't make money. They only make money when you're not making original content, when you're just getting distribution rights. Licensing. That's what made Netflix into a juggernaut. But now they think that they're artists. And I think art is one of the most damaging terms, has been damaged beyond recognition. And media literacy has been damaged so much. If you use the term media literacy unironically these days, you're laughed into oblivion because people like this have abused that term. That term actually means something. And I hate that it's been diluted to such a degree that they have this idea that, oh my God, this is art. Oh my God, we're so intelligent. It doesn't have to be good. Why are you looking at logic? It's art. It should be exempt from logic. And they're so high on fucking shrooms that they believe their own lies.
Yeah, and there it is. Harkening back to why I'm doing this. Somebody asked me when I was laying all this out on why Superman was a flop, why it was a financial failure. When he asked me, why would somebody spend that much, have such a high threshold? Why would they do that? We just laid it out. They're deluded. They've created a fantasy for themselves. They believe their own reality. And in my opinion, they believe they could control the consumer base. They believed we were malleable enough to be directed to this and that. They really thought that we had been indoctrinated enough with everything to just sit back and take it. At the same time, a lot of this has happened during the woke agenda era, where all these companies, these corpos who unfortunately own all our IPs that we love, they were convinced they didn't need the real fans anymore. They were convinced that they could manufacture a customer base, a consumer base that will show up on demand, that they'll push the button. Their algorithmic speculations, everything they told them, their surveys, this and that, told them if you do this, this, and this, the greedy little piggies will show up and eat your slop, no matter what. Problem is, that's not true. The stand base, as we refer to them now, I refer to them as the stand base. As Jed just said, they don't amount to much. They cannot move the needle because they, one, have no purchasing power. These are deadbeats. These are losers. These are not actual fans of anything. They wander around screaming how much they love something, but they have no evidence of a collection. Nothing real. They'll buy the cheapest Funko Pop crap out there. Sorry, Dre. They'll buy the cheapest Funko Pop crap out there, and they will pretend that's their collection. They'll toss in a couple of cheap pieces of shit. Also, say, "There's my collection. I love this stuff. Look, I bought this book here, this book there on my fake Star Wars fan shelf. Look, I like the new High Republic stuff. See, I'm a fan."
Oof.
No, you're not. You're not. Oof. That's a Star Wars book collection. That's a physical media collection. That's buying franchises that have endured for 20, 30 years in some cases above me. I mean, TNG, that's endured for 30 years. Jed's watching it right now. It's glorious. It still holds up to the moment, to the letter, to the second. That is what a collection looks like. I wish I could have more, but I don't have a lot of fungible money assets to buy collector stuff. And I don't have a room for anything either. I'm at a point where I'm not collecting things because I hope to move and I don't want to have to move shit. But
you old curmudgeon bastard. You're old.
I'm not a curmudgeon. People are calling me a curmudgeon. I'm not a curmudgeon. I just have passion and I don't like what I don't like. And if I don't care about something, I'm not a curmudgeon.
And look, I'm not mad at you, bro. I'm not mad at you at all. I think everything you just said is absolutely correct. I think you made all excellent points. And what you're saying is true. Like the stand base, I feel sorry for them in some cases because they don't know any better. They're sheep.
They've been indoctrinated. They've been told they're important when they're not.
Exactly, and it's really sad because, like as you mentioned several times, the stand base is an audience, but they ain't big enough to make money. It's just the reality of it all. So it's a losing formula. There's no rationale to it. And actually, I wanted to bring up something Drag Lady said earlier about the budgets ballooning, even with television. There was one saving grace for television while at one point for network television. Let me be specific. For network television, commercials would be the key to making all that soap money, that Dawn money,
that toilet paper money.
That toilet paper money
made sense. There was a relationship, and it wasn't on the customer a lot of times to fund these big projects. Ad companies, they see value, so it's not just, hey, we need a few seconds of screen time. These ad companies saw real value in this stuff, so they doled out millions of dollars for these commercials.
20 seconds of airtime.
20 seconds. Yeah. No wonder these TV shows were able to make bank. And streaming services will never be able to recoup that. Even with advertisements starting to become a thing on these streaming services, they're not doing it enough or in the right way. And these advertisers, they're not paying as much money. They know this isn't a premium product anymore or a premium service. So yeah, the advertisements were a gold standard that we've lost.
And they can't get it back. I mean, there's no bringing back to terrestrial television because we're done with that. None of us even spend the money on cable anymore. And secondly, everybody's spending as much money on all their streaming services as they are on cable now. I mean, the new ESPN app is $30 when it launches. You spend money on Netflix. If you're still buying Disney Plus, I don't know why. That's another whatever that is. Then you got to add in Paramount Plus. Then you got to add in Peacock and that. Then you got to add in HBO Max. And then you got to add in probably several others that maybe you want to get premium service to because you don't want to watch commercials. You know, in the end, you're spending as much. You're spending as much as you used to. And you're not getting a worth anymore because there's no quality to the shows. Very little. I mean, one could argue the quality is found on HBO and Paramount Plus right now. That's where the quality is found. But they take so long.
Yeah.
In some cases. Especially genre. I mean, the only one that gets out with any regularity is a Taylor Sheridan show, but that's a regular old show in the end. It's got probably low budget. It's practical effects, no CGI, no digital. He can crank that out, and he's focused, and he knows what he's good at, and he's keeping the ball rolling. But all the genre stuff, the stuff that really gets like a fire under people to get excited about and talk about, that's just taking, as we talked about last week, 2 to 3 years to get something out.
Yeah, and it's not
you're losing momentum.
Everything costs too much and takes too long to make. Movies and TV. We're never going to see a film franchise like Harry Potter doing, for the most part, yearly releases again. At this point, we're lucky for 2 years between sequels of movie franchises that have source material even.
Yeah. I mean, once upon a time, we thought 3 years between Star Wars movies was horrible. But you see, George understood letting it simmer and also taking the time. He didn't rush it.
And not to mention, he was making quintillions of dollars in merchandise in between.
Yes. It's like, oh, I'm going to give you, here's 3 years worth of merch to buy for this movie. And we're just going to keep putting out new little bits and pieces. We're going to, here's this one, here's this one, here's that one.
Kept the brand alive to survive that big of a gap. There's merchandising doesn't move the needle anymore for any franchise.
To keep that out, you just keep it alive. From 1983 until 1991, Star Wars was kept alive by the original trilogy merch.
Yeah, 100% correct.
Little bit in comics, a few low-grade video games here and there, but then in 1990-1991, with the birth of the EU and the upgrade in video game technology on both console and PC gaming, suddenly new Star Wars came out, and then new merch came out, and it was everywhere. And then that just cranked it up more. And then, I'm George Lucas. I'm going to re-release the original movie special edition. Let's crank out more original trilogy merch. And then let's build up to the prequel trilogy, and then let's get that merch. George, for all his ills, understood all that
was
shit.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
He was brilliant. I don't think that's debatable. Like, George was a genius when it comes to merchandising his IP. Like you said, 1983 was the last film that he made. I don't count Ewoks. I'm not even going to do that.
We don't count that. We don't count the Ewok adventure movies. We do not. They do not count.
Counting that. So, as far as Star Wars is concerned, 1983 was the last movie, and that joke rode the coattails. Let's just be as honest as we can, all the way to 1999. Let's tell the truth and shame the devil. That joke ran.
I bought everything from 83 to 90, when I could still beg for toys. It's like, something Star Wars, can I have it? Didn't matter if I already had some version of it. No, can I have Star Wars Micro Machines? Good God, I obsessed over that shit when they came out.
Machines.
We're so far removed. Micro Machines, and it's like, I want this tiny little freaking Star Destroyer in my tiny little Millennium Falcon. You damn straight I do.
Yep, absolutely. At KB Toys, baby. Let me get them Jones up off you.
Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Successfully microtransactioned his franchise.
He sure did, the right way, because we can actually have stuff if we were smart. Would have kept everything, because it was classic material. I mean, that's the thing. No franchise. I think Jed might have mentioned it. Or maybe did. No franchise has that type of power anymore, including and not limited to Star Wars.
Harry Potter's the closest thing. It's the closest.
But is Harry Potter? I mean, this is the thing. Harry Potter was able to survive for a couple good reasons. One, because the books were cranking out like freaking hot dog machine, man. They were just coming. And then with that was coinciding with the films. Like, even if you weren't a fan, you can understand, like, the books are coming out and then a movie's coming out. Like the correlation was there. And I'm pretty sure there was some collectible materials in between for diehard fans.
Yeah, there's merch.
Yeah, there's definitely. I'm pretty sure there was something whatever, like broomsticks, whatever. Like there was a way for that franchise to keep going because of the literature. Star Wars, of course, is the biggest media franchise from film, anyway. Film media franchise. Let me be specific. Film media franchise that the world had ever seen and will never see again. Period. Full stop. There is no franchise like that anymore.
No,
there's no franchise that can justify its existence with its merch alone. None. Zero.
Right. Yeah, and Harry Potter's not there. Harry Potter is a juggernaut franchise. It is one of the biggest that still exists, but its name isn't enough to make the Fantastic Beasts movies success.
Exactly.
There aren't really any merch out there. They're not re-releasing the books with new artwork or anything like that that's selling like hotcakes. The excitement for the new TV show is tepid at best. It's still the best of what we have, but if it were in the 90s, it would be an average franchise with how much it's how excited people are for it. Like there's no way that there's going to be a new, I don't know, Hogwarts Lego set that's going to come out and just blow everybody away. They already did it. And they have to line up and do it. There's like, we got to have it. We got to have it. There's going to be individuals who are still excited about that and obsessive about that, but it's going to be a niche thing. The merchandising for every franchise these days is niche. It's unsustainable.
You just did a perfect example. Hogwarts Lego set. They already did all that with the movies, and it's not like you see those little ones, you think, oh, that's the actors and actresses from the movie. No, you see those characters. I mean, it only thing to do is like, oh, here's one with Black Snape, I guess. Here's the difference.
Oh no.
Yeah, they're using the same sets basically. Hogwarts is going to look the same for the most part in the TV shows compared to the movies. So it's not like you can make new toys off of it.
No.
They're not going to redesign a whole lot of things.
So back to the original question then. Why do they do this? Because I think it's all these things. They've convinced themselves they could truly control the customer base by turning them into a consumer base, and they could control what they thought would be palatable or they could feed the market. And in the end, they couldn't. And this is why we are where we are now, why these movies cost so much money, which, again, shouldn't cost this much. I don't have an answer to why everything costs so much. It should not cost as much as it does. But it does, and they sink all this money into it. Yeah, I'm not going to do it. Why do they do it? Because they're convinced they could be masters of the universe, masters of the world. They could control everything. And not realizing that in your attempt to manufacture and create your modern audience, you abandon the people who would be willing to pay and be your biggest cheerleaders. This is not something we're going to talk about now, but I'm going to bring it up tomorrow night on Mondays so the boys can yell about this. You know there's a new He-Man movie coming out, right?
Yep.
I don't know how much of He-Man aficionados everybody is here. There's a character called Roboto, who's a dude.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Kristen Wiig is Roboto.
Ew.
First of all,
official.
Kristen Wiig is not
That's
funny.
official. She's not funny, but
Why
it's a
she-
woman in a man's
It's a
role.
woman, yeah.
Roboto's
I mean,
a dude. He's a cyborg. He's a dude.
But Adam, does that surprise you at this point?
No, it does not.
surprise you?
This is not my surprise face. This is my. I'm not surprised.
Yeah,
It's
I'm like,
her
it's like,
especially.
hey.
She's the human equivalent of a rash.
Just don't get rid of her without intensive antibiotic cream, ointment, and pills. Point is, so you've made this He-Man movie, which has certain visual callbacks and this and that, yet you're putting in, still casting the worst possible people. You are not in tune with your audience. This is why these movies fail, why these movies flop. To go back to that question, you are no longer in tune with your audience. Nobody in any wing of Disney, nobody at any wing of Warner Brothers, because let's be honest. If Warner Brothers, DC Studios, James Gunn were in any way in touch with their audience, they would have put out a movie that had more like an 80-20 ratio of who liked it and who didn't like it, as opposed to 50-50, which then would have generated $600 to $700 million in domestic revenue. But they're not in touch. They put out a movie that either appealed to stans mixed in with people who were so desperate that they are suffering from massive cognitive dissonance when it comes to coping and liking that movie, or you have the rest of us who are just like, what is this shit that you just made me watch? What is this? And are you telling me Supergirl is going to now be the next great thing? No, it's not. And people out there, the arguments, oh, Supergirl's going to do great. Yeah, it's based off a particular version of Supergirl that's despised by just about everybody. Because they, oh, this is actually pretty close to her in the comics. Yeah, current slop. Not traditional, optimistic Supergirl that everybody enjoyed.
And Lobo's not going to be enough to carry it.
No. Momoa doesn't have that kind of juice anymore.
No.
Momoa's window is closed in terms of juice.
I'll give him this. He will get women's butts and seats.
$800 million worth of women, though?
Ooh,
Like
maybe that
Aquaman?
much. Maybe that
not Aquaman. Not Aquaman money.
Not Aquaman money.
He a woman cap.
Yeah, but he is what all the women like to see, and the main man fitting to get naked. So
he'll be shirtless.
Yeah,
he'll be shirtless.
Without question.
That was the only reason why I ended up watching his version of Conan the Barbarian the other week. It was like, yep, I'll watch that.
I own every version. That movie is not. It's a little more lore accurate, honestly. It's not great, but I don't hate it as much as a lot of people do. I enjoy it for what it's worth. But I know it's not a great movie.
Dracula don't care about that. The man butt naked. He getting butt naked. That's what Dracula.
Hey, listen. The body double of the hot chick in that, she had nice tits.
Yes, no,
it wasn't her. It wasn't her though. It wasn't her.
Yeah,
That's been confirmed. It was a body double. It was a body double.
But that's it. But he's gonna put some.
Yeah, there was man ass in that movie. There was man ass.
Oh yes, there was, and I'm pretty sure there's gonna be in the Supergirl too, because Lobo gonna get naked because he always gets naked somehow. He always gets naked, and I'm pretty sure the main man is fitting to show off his stuff because ladies are gonna come to go see him. No woman is going to see Supergirl. For Supergirl, no one, zero women are coming to see.
And
Supergirl. They're coming to see naked.
I do not believe the Millie Alcock stands, the fanboys, the simps. I don't think that's a massive army of dudes who are going to go see that. And I bring it back. That's going to be the problem with that movie. We're going to have a problem discussing the movie because of the Millie Alcock simps. It's going to be a problem. All right, so I think we found some answers that I'm satisfied with this, and it's disturbing. It disturbs me because there's no end in sight to this right now.
Yeah.
We're still neck deep in this. And there's nothing coming out that I feel like changes anything at all. Everything still costs too much. Nothing is as good as it should be. And we're still going to be faced with loads of propaganda. Loads of propaganda that do not simply stop at franchises that were once massively successful. What am I talking about? Jed, you watched a couple episodes of the show this week that is a lot of conversation surrounding it. Alien Earth. You are relatively new as a fan of the franchise or the IP, as it were, maybe, but you are a devoted new fan when it comes to Alien.
Yes, I am definitely a devoted new fan because I watched Alien for the first time about almost 2 years ago now, I believe, for Saturday Night Drive-In. We picked it for Halloween. And I loved the first Alien film. I've seen it at least a dozen times now. That weekend, I watched the rest of the franchise. I watched all the Sigourney Weaver sequels, the AVPs, and even those god-awful prequel films from Ridley Scott. I hate those so very much. And then watched Romulus last year. I think Romulus is inoffensive. It's not good, but it's inoffensive to the franchise with the exception of what they do to Ash. But Alien Earth is unequivocally the worst thing to happen to Alien as a franchise whatsoever. It's worse than Prey. Prey didn't do damage to the Predator universe and the AVP, shared universe like this TV show does. It is straight up god awful trash that contradicts lore that I believe will fundamentally change the interpretation of the original Alien film. And I'll get into that. But it's just trash. It's pseudo-intellectual garbage. And I feel like the cinematographer discovered what a crossfade was and spammed that button a million times. Have you seen any of the images from this show, Dre?
I've seen the clips. I've heard some of the story beats. And look,
have you heard?
Go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, have you seen the Ice Age stuff?
No, I haven't seen.
I'll explain that in a minute, but you go ahead and finish.
Like from Sid the Sloth. I heard like something like that, but I didn't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
You
were saying.
Yeah, but I've got I've heard I've heard the story beats and everything, and I wasn't interested. And like when so, even though I haven't watched it yet, I was like, hey, once the show finishes, I might binge it. But I went and did I went and engaged in a little bit of immoral sin and watched Alien Covenant.
Oh no!
Because I hadn't watched it in many years, and I forgot why I hated it so much.
And that all came rushing back.
And I remember now why I hated that movie so much. I remember why I was about to do unspeakable things to my wrist. I remember it. I'm like, oh, this is why I stopped. Because like you were saying, those prequel movies may be the worst thing. Now, if you're saying that this is worse than Prometheus and Covenant, I don't think my brain can handle any more of that schlock. Because Alien 3 made me want to sacrifice small goats. Because I can't like those movies are offensive to all five senses. And I don't know if I can do any more Alien. Like I love the Alien franchise for what it represents. Like I love the first Alien movie, and I'm looking at you, Jed. I love Aliens. I love that movie.
Jake, guess what we're watching for driving this weekend?
Aliens.
Good.
That movie's great. Jed, that movie's fantastic.
It's not a bad movie. I just think we went from high art to average action movie. Is all. Like Aliens is very enjoyable. It's not the well-written masterpiece that Alien was, in my opinion. But Alien Earth isn't as bad as Covenant and Prometheus. It doesn't damage the franchise as much as those. It still damages the franchise, but Covenant and Prometheus are on a new level that cannot be competed with. It's just there's so much more of it. We're already at 2 hours for the first 2 episodes. There's just going to be way more Alien Earth than there were those 2 movies. So I'd rather watch those movies just for time's sake. But yeah, it's not quite as bad as those. There's so much to talk about with how bad Alien Earth is, though. To start with, it takes place 2 years before the events of Alien. And for those of you who don't remember,
you can stop right there. You can stop right there. I don't.
It's worse. It's worse than that. For those of you who don't remember, the mission in the original Alien film was 2 years, and they weren't done with it. They were about 18 months into it, I believe, or 20 months into it, something around there. So the Nostromo leaves Earth after the events of Alien. So my theory is that they're going to change the events of Alien to say, like, I think the season's going to end with the CGI monstrosity of Ash being brought into Weyland Yutani's office and being like, hey, we know there's some xenomorphs out there. Go out there with this crew, and on the way back, trick them into going to see the xenomorph beacon we know about. I think that's how the show's going to end. That's just a personal opinion, but with the way the timeline works out, I think that's going to happen. But more importantly, the show opens with a science vessel from a deep space exploration coming back to Earth after a 65-year mission, and the ship is the equivalent technology of the Nostromo. So the Alien Earth starts out with saying, yeah, in 30 years from now, we'll have the technology of Alien. I don't think that's a realistic proposition. It's not a realistic proposition. And it starts with, 30 years from now, we're going to have Nostromo-level technology.
But it's supposed to take place 2 years before the film? The original Alien.
So they're coming back from a 65-year journey. So they left Earth with the Nostromo-level ship 65 years beforehand, which is 30 years in our future.
Gotcha.
So they're saying in 2055 we'll have Nostromo-level technology to send the science vessel out.
I see. They're playing with my testes.
Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. Proceed.
But it starts with the crew of the science vessel getting out of cryo with 4 months left on their journey back to Earth to mumble exposition at the table. And it's trying to recreate the opening scene of Alien when they all wake up and whatnot. And they're just at the table. It's like, hey, there's this teenage boy with us who, for some reason, doesn't know anything about anything. So let's randomly tell him about all the corporations on Earth and how they work together and how we hate cyborgs and how we're xenophobic and and it's just exposizing the whole world in this terribly written mumbling scene. And then they go back into cryo. They just wake up.
They just wake up to have breakfast and then frozen.
They went back into cryo.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, I forgot to mention the show opens with the line of crawl that says the power struggle, the arms race of the 22nd century is finding immortality, and the major corporations all have their different avenue for immortality, and that's what everything's about. Like the fundamental purpose of Earth right now is to crack the code on immortality. Some people are doing it with cyborgs, which are being introduced in this show, and people hate cyborgs because racism's got to add in a metaphor for that. Of course, the one cyborg we see is a black man, of course, and he's discriminated against for being a cyborg. And Weyland Yutani, they're pushing synths. Apparently, synths are the way to have immortal humans, because that makes sense. That makes total sense. And then there's this new company called Prodigy, and their plan is to upload human brains into synthetic beings, and that's the way they're going to crack immortality. And they're starting that off with uploading the brains of children into synths and then having them do sexual shit. It's full on PDF file shit. It's gross. And they're obsessed with Peter Pan. Like there's this little girl with cancer who's going to be the first test subject for this, uploaded into a new body. And the boy genius, his name is Boy Cavalier, is what he's called.
Oh, kill me.
It's so smart. It's so smart, guy. And he's like, look at this. This is really cool. And he points up, and there's a TV in the ceiling playing Peter Pan. And it's like this cool moment. It's like, there's a TV in the ceiling? Wowie! And it's acted like it's this crazy thing. And then they show the little girl's in the android body. First thing she does is jump off basically 100-foot drop off a cliff, and is totally fine. So we've established she's superhuman. And she's named herself Wendy after this because she likes Peter Pan so much. And apparently all of these children who are going to be uploaded, they're all Peter Pan characters now. Like
they're Lost Boys.
They're all Lost Boys. One of them's Smee for some reason. One of them's not a Lost Boy, but the rest are. And practically her first scene is this robot who has the mind of a 12-year-old girl inside of her, fondling her new boobies, saying, wow, these are weird. And talking about how she has adult sexuality now and how her brain can't comprehend it. And they use the term transition several times to talk about the transition from child into adult sexually mature bodies. It happens a few times when they're talking about sex. There's a point later on in that episode where she's just being a little girl in a seat talking to some security guy. It's like, hey, isn't it sex is when sperm squiggles into the woman, right? And bongo drums on her eggs. And it's like this most immature description of sex possible in gruesome detail. That's half of her scenes in the first episode is sexualizing her or talking about sexual things.
Hey, yo, we really got, as a people, we really got to get together. We really got to get together.
All right. So it only gets worse. Child soldiers, stuff like that. And we still got, another 6 weeks of this garbage?
Another 6 weeks. They virtually not started the plot. The alien ship crashes into a city, and they're trying to get the alien out. No action started. They end episodes on terrible points. Episode 2 has just randomly in the skyscraper that the ship crashes into, there's a apartment that is just 17th century style dinner party, and people are in there having a 17th style dinner party. And I was mentioning the crossfades. The crossfades are ridiculous. So they show the little girl, her older brother is search and rescue, who's going in to find out what's going on with this crashed ship. As kids, they watched Ice Age together. And so when she realizes that her brother's in the crashed ship trying to rescue people, it just has Sid the Sloth fade in next to her head and then fade away to let you know that she's thinking about her brother. And in the 17th century dinner party scene, the brother is attacked by the alien, manages to survive, manages to get away. He's injured, and a cocoon gun comes in and disables the alien. Yes, so the black cyborg comes in, tases the xenomorph right there, and then has a cocoon gun that he sprays all over it to put it in a cocoon.
That's my next question, the xenomorph. I've heard that the xenomorph is completely misrepresented how a xenomorph would behave.
Oh, yeah, it's just generic killing monster thingy. And the important thing to note is when it was first revealed to just be killing people on the ship, you're thinking, all right, there's no eggs around. It doesn't need to, get face huggers to impregnate to spread the species, which we know is kind of their behavior is centered around that idea of repopulating using the eggs that the queen lays, right? But it's just killing everyone, just randomly gruesome fashion, not removing the bodies like we saw in the original Alien film or whatnot. It's just killing because killing's fun. Then they reveal that there's eggs. There are eggs on the ship. And it's completely ignoring them.
I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. One of the things that I know when we discuss Alien that one time, one of the things that was fast about that movie is that, the xenomorph really did nothing wrong in Alien. They went after it. It isolated itself because it was separated from any sort of later on lore knowing hive, and without purpose to either protect the hive or keep the population growing. What is a xenomorph drone's job? Nothing. So it would be dormant. It's not just it's only a killing machine on orders from a queen, or a killing machine in a defensive thing, or when it is injected into an environment with several eggs like that, where the predators, the Yautja, do it in order to create the ultimate hunt and stuff like that. This is just such a break from it. And one of the arguments I've heard during this, I said this on Ballbusters on Friday, is, oh, well, this thing here was in the book, and this thing here was in a comic. All right, Dre, I know you read plenty of Alien and Predator comics in your time. I've read a few myself. I read some books. You can attest to the fact that unlike with Star Wars Expanded Universe, which was top-down controlled by Lucasfilm.
That's correct.
Top-down control with George at the top. People want to pretend it didn't happen. He had power to control where things went. There was never a governing authority on what is canon and lore in comics and books from Alien movies. If we're going to talk canon and lore, unfortunately, we go to the pyramid. The movies stand at the top.
That's correct.
As much as I love the original Alien vs. Predator book, which leads into the comic series Alien vs. Predator War, that shit ain't canon and lore.
It's not canon, and that's the interesting thing about the Alien franchise. The canon was established via the film, and that's the way it has always stood. The comics were always, to put it in a way simply, is what if. Yeah. The comics were always what if. Even the AVP movies are not canon. Yeah, those were also classified as what if. The movies were the law. That is what it always was and where it's always stood. Now, I think there were some graphic novel tie-ins that were done years later that I think are now considered canon because they were connecting to the original storyboards that Ridley Scott did back in like 1977 or something like that. So outside of those books, the movies are God when it comes to the lore. Absolutely.
And the lore exploded in Predator 2 when you spot the xenomorph skull.
That is correct.
On the trophy case, and we all lost our shit when we saw
that. Alien skull.
Yeah, xenomorph
skull.
Yeah, in the Yautja trophy room on the ship when he's gearing up halfway through, and he's going back out to hunt Danny Glover. Yep. You see that xenomorph skull, and we all lost our shit.
Absolutely.
I was told recently in a discussion that was just supposed to be a joke, but everybody took it so serious, like, oh shit, these are connected.
Yeah.
And then, of course, then the non-canonized lore is that the Yautja seeded the galaxy with xenomorphs for the best hunt possible.
Yes. And I was willing to go ahead and accept that form of canon personally.
Yeah. Because to me, that's fun. That's fun to me. It's just fun.
That's really fun and it's really interesting because sometimes you have to stop and think where these aliens come from, why they do what they do. Like,
why are they so out of control?
Exactly.
Because the Yautja were careless and they should have done that shit.
Exactly. And I think that would be really, really cool. But since and as it always was established that was not canon. That's always been established that was not canon. So that opened up the floodgates for full-blown prostitution. And we got garbage. Then we get Prometheus and we get Covenant and we get whatever the pedo nonsense that's out there now. We needed a guiding light. We needed it for this.
Not Ridley Scott.
No,
not anymore. God, he's making some trash these days.
No. Like in my head canon, I'm still running the AVP rules personally.
Oh,
and that's my head canon.
My head canon is Aliens, AVP novels.
Yes,
and then the war book.
That's my canon.
That's me.
Yes, yes, and I think that's more fun that way. I think it connects the universes a whole lot better because whatever Ridley Scott is huffing on, whatever paint that he's sniffing, no matter what lead he's injecting into his veins, he's gone stone crazy. And whoever else his cohorts are, they've gone crazy too. And it's seen, this is the problem when we don't have someone that's making the rules, when we don't have someone that's sitting like, hey, this is how this works. This is the guiding principles of these characters. This is the origin. Here, I wrote this in 1965. This is the origin. Do not deviate from it. When we don't have that type of guiding light, we get a lot of moronic foolishness that's now being developed today. That's crazy. We're in the 21st century. We're just starting lore. It's crazy.
They try to bring these kind of people in, but then they complain when, oh, we don't want to stick to the law. We want to change everything, and then it's only said franchise in name. Example is Walking with Dinosaurs. They rebooted that on the BBC, making all of us over a certain age think, oh, yay, we finally get a sequel. It was just Walking with Dinosaurs in name only. They did not have Kenneth Branagh narrating it. They did not have the original team, and the original team didn't even know anything about it until they switched the TV on, and they're like, wait, what? And it was just Walking with Dinosaurs with name only. Oh yeah, and they kept stopping what was going on in the episodes constantly. Whenever something exciting was going on, oh, we have this idiot paleontologist interview. And like, hang on a minute, something exciting was happening. You're constantly interrupting to talk to this scientist bloke. We want to see the dinosaurs. That was the whole point of the original show. The original show had practical and CGI effects. It was mainly practical. They just stuck CGI dinosaurs in the background. That was it. Well, it basically annoyed a lot of people. Same age as me. The original show came out in 1999. It still holds up. So I don't know why they did what they did, other than the BBC are complete idiots.
Yeah,
it's a cash grab, and they just wanted yes men with the lore, just like what we talk about with Rings of Power. They brought on Tom Shippey initially, very early days, to try to entice fans who are big into the lore and whatnot. It's like, hey, we have Tom Shippey, yeah, we're gonna really stick to Tolkien, and then they fired him because he wasn't being a yes man. And when we don't have anyone on the level of Tom Shippey for Alien who can hold the franchise together, just from mere knowledge, let alone of influence. And Ridley Scott's not a pushing of authority, and anyone else who helped write
James
the original
Cameron
film. James Cameron sure as shit ain't. He hasn't made a good movie in 25 years, in my opinion, at least of the ones I've seen, as a caveat. But yeah, this new Alien Earth show is absolute garbage. It's terrible as an Alien product for damn sure, but it's just bad in and of itself. There's two final scenes I want to talk about real quick that illustrate this. So I mentioned there's a random 17th century dinner party going on the top of the skyscraper that a spaceship crashed into, and they don't even they're like, oh yeah, there was some rumbling, but we're still having a great time. Oh my chop, oh my lord, what's going on out here? And they don't even care that there's a spaceship in their lobby. They don't give a shit. And the android chick's brother is trying to ask them for help. The Xenomorph comes in and just decimates the 50 weird 17th century people, just annihilates them, blood everywhere. The brother's about to be killed, and the black guy cyborg comes in and cooms all over the Xenomorph and drags him out. So the brother's fine. He wakes up a few minutes later and he's like, wow, there's a lot of dead French people here. What's going on? And then he wanders into the closet, and what happens to be in the closet? Before I get to that, they didn't set up any of this. There's an
egg in there.
There's not not that bad. There's no foreshadowing for this, by the way. It's not building on character or anything like that. It's this weird shrine to a bunch of historical objects throughout history, mainly sports. So there's like a hockey puck that's from a famous game. There's a baseball that Babe Ruth had and whatnot, or just random shit like that. I don't remember most of them. But at the end of this closet, at the back, is a Reggie Jackson baseball, and it's signed and everything. And then randomly there's a TV screen as he walks in behind the baseball that randomly comes in and shows the game that the baseball's from. And then it crossfades over a memory of the little boy watching baseball with his dad. And then it overlays a scene of the brother and sister talking about baseball. And then it's overlaying like 3 different scenes on top of each other. And it's not even like separating them out. It's like this corner where there's nothing going on is the childhood. Or this corner. It's just all on top of each other. So you're seeing baseball face, kid, brother, game all at the same time, all stacked on each other. And then it just randomly ends, and the brother and sister meet after that, and they're like, yeah, Dad liked baseball, and it had baseball, so I was
Nintendo.
sad. It was like this brother, he already has a reason to be sad. He just saw 30, 40 people get butchered in front of him by a xenomorph, torn to shreds. But it's a baseball he found in the closet that was enough to make him sad. And you didn't need the emotional beat of reconnecting with the sister because he didn't know his sister was alive. He thought his sister died of cancer, didn't know about the whole android thing. They already established they watched Ice Age together as kids. So use Ice Age as the, hey.
They did it again?
Yeah, they did it again. But instead of just using the Ice Age thing that they've already established, they add in randomly the scene with the baseball. So they're like, yeah, we watched baseball with our dad. Wait, you really are my sister. And it's just god awful writing, and the transitions are really bad too. So the end of the episode shows the brother and the cyborg chick, or the synthetic chick, finding the eggs in the spaceship, the crashed spaceship, and there's a big hole in the wall.
How are the eggs there?
Yeah, how are they there? How did they survive a spaceship crash? Anybody that was alive during the spaceship crash, totally fine. 0 injuries. The xenomorph's fine. The eggs are fine. The cyborg dude, he was in a blast chamber, but
how are the eggs there? This is a drone. It's not a queen.
Yep, there's no evidence of a queen.
And this is a thing. A drone can't just. It's not like in some species where a species can turn itself into something to.
Yeah, like Jurassic Park. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drones are born as drones. A queen is a queen's born like because like Dre said, we don't want to go near Alien 3. Fuck that movie.
No.
But it. The reason
a queen incubated
the drone didn't kill Ripley's because she was hosting a queen to now propagate the species, because already the pheromones were there. So a queen is born. It does not just change. Can't just become, because it's specific. The thing about a xenomorph, it specifically adapts to the physiological attributes of its host, and whatever triggers to make a queen doesn't burst out and then decide, oh, I need to suddenly make eggs, I'm going to transform myself into a queen. Don't work like that.
Oh, there is a plant cocoon that I think the queen is in. There's this weird upside down hanging plant cocoon that they're like, this looks like flora, but it's actually fauna, and it's like dripping, and there's like tentacles coming out of it. I think the queen's going to be in there. But this is my theory about how this is all going to play out. That this deep space science vessel found the crashed alien ship from the beginning of Alien. They stole a bunch of the eggs there that we see like John Hurt looking at, put them in their ship, going to bring them back to Earth to investigate. One of the facehuggers came out, and we saw that the chest burster that became the xenomorph was of someone in cryo. So that facehugger got into cryo like we saw in Alien 3, chest bursted, and the cyborg decides to start working for them. And Weyland-Yutani is going to send the Nostromo out to find the buoy that this spaceship, the science vessel left on the planet where they found the xenomorphs.
I hate
in the original
retcons.
Alien. Yep, that's what we're at here. But the episode ends with them finding those eggs, right? And there's a big hole in the wall. And then the xenomorph just kind of pops out like peekaboo and steals the brother, takes him out. And we established at the beginning, like I mentioned, that this synthetic chick, she can take 100-foot drops without breaking a sweat, like full on superhero landing. Like, yeah, I'm the best.
Stands there and does nothing.
It's definitely not too deep that she can't jump. She can absolutely jump with what they established. Instead, she turns to the other Lost Boy robot like herself, Shmi, and says, "Guard the omelet!" And then she runs away to try to find a way out of the ship.
Guard the omelet?
Because there's eggs.
What the?
Kill me.
All right,
Kill me
we're
now.
done.
And that's when the episode ends.
Enough.
The
That's
episode
enough.
ends
That's
with
enough.
guard the omelets.
enough.
That's cut to black. We have to wait another few days to find out what happens after
We're
that.
done.
Mm-mm.
I don't want to talk about this anymore. That is shit writing.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, people are putting this up
Guard-
as high art because the showrunner did Fargo, and Fargo is
Guard the
apparently
omelet.
good.
Oh, we still
And-
riding that train. We're still
So,
riding
yeah.
the Fargo train.
Guard the omelet. Oh man.
It's shit. Timothy Olyphant is actually really bad in it too. He's got like these blonde eyebrows, blonde hair. He's a synth, and he's just like, that flora might actually be fauna.
I'm gonna
It's
hurt myself.
creepy as shit, and
Are they all waking and baking in this movie?
It seems like everybody's mumbling. The cross the crossfades and the mumbling is probably the worst thing. There's not a scene that doesn't have mumbling or some weird random crossfades. We don't need it. Like when the xenomorph first showed up to the brother, he's standing there getting ready to jump over a gap because the stairwell's demolished. So him and his crew are jumping over this gap, and he just stops and he looks up, there's a random dark hole in the ceiling, and it starts overlaying him looking at the hole. Instead of just cutting face, hole, you get the reaction, you know what he's looking at. It overlays them both on top of each other for several minutes until the xenomorph comes out and tries to attack him. The crossfades are ridiculous, and no actor is likable. The creepy robot children are just disconcerting to watch. The brother's just like, I watched a bunch of people die, but where should I go now? That's his level of acting. There's no one to root for.
I am not interested in this show at all. Not even to review. I mean, Jed's been telling me to do it for like 3 days. Review it. Do it.
You should. You don't have anything else to review right now.
Yeah, but I know who's really gonna care about this is my question. That's my question. And I don't really care. That's the thing. I have no passion for this. Like Dre said, I'm stuck in a particular point where I haven't left for a long time ago, and I'm happy there. So this sounds like a disaster. Jed, keep us updated because you're locked into this one. You're stuck on it now. You're gonna finish it.
Am I?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need updates.
So watch
it.
But yeah, people are acting like it's high art. Like there are people coming after me and my wife on Twitter for saying, "Yeah, this show is shit." They're like, "You just don't have any taste. You don't know what's good. You have no media literacy." Like,
all right.
If it's slow, that means it's good.
Oof. No, I don't want to hear that. All right, so that's it. Alien Earth. They want it to be another Game of Thrones, I heard. So.
And Rachel's mentioning in the chat, has anyone seen After Earth with Will Smith?
No, I have not, on purpose.
I've heard of it. I think my dad's seen it.
I watched about 45 seconds of that.
You mean the movie that was supposed to be a vehicle for Jaden Smith to be a big star?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, Alien Earth is adapting aspects of After Earth because the xenomorphs now operate on the same principles as the monsters, the Ursas in After Earth. They smell fear. So if you just aren't afraid, you can ghost. Because the black cyborg dude, he just centers himself and he's like, I'm not afraid. And the xenomorph just looks at him and is like, he's not food, and walks away.
No, that's not how it works.
It's not how that works at all.
Not how it works. Not how it works. Anyway.
Well, they don't have eyes. How else are they sensing you? They gotta smell fear.
We're done. Quick reminder, I forgot all week to do this. I'll give you guys one more night to do it. As we end here, remind everybody, if you have not gone over my community tab, please vote on the next chat choice movie for drive-in. We got to get that knocked out, not this weekend, but the following week. So I'll give you guys a couple more days, and then we'll let you vote on it. So please, if you have not voted, go to do that. Community tab, it's right there. I haven't posted much recently, so it should be right there. But we are done. We're done wrapping this up. I want to go running into the street screaming after hearing this stuff.
Yes.
All right, Jed, what's your week look like?
Well, everyone can find me on YouTube at Hollywood Scholar, just regularly scheduled live streams this week with Saturday Night Drive-In, but Adam will get more into that.
Dragon Lady.
I will be here next week, so I will be here next Sunday.
Okay. Dre, website almost ready.
Yes, hopefully this week the website will be ready, and I will be making a big announcement. Hopefully, when it's ready, make a post on the Brewpint Comics YouTube channel. So definitely check that out when it's released. So anybody that hasn't checked out my book, or anybody that was curious about my book, you get an opportunity to finally get your grips on it, and all my other gig stuff. So if you're looking for a writer, if you're looking for a voice actor, the whole 9 yards is going to be on that platform. I'm very, very excited. So hopefully, God willing, it's ready this week so I can make that big announcement. Also on the DeBrute Plays gaming channel, we'll be cutting up the shorts of our recent Pokemon battles. Definitely check that out when I drop those. And of course, check out the whole new battle on that channel as well. So do all those great YouTube things, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And of course, follow me on X Twitter at DeBrute00.
Outstanding. As for me, tonight, as usual, I got Wormhole Watch tonight. You can expect that edited version up on Duke Devil 95, Bradley Burnett's channel, around Wednesday. I also have to watch Ice Cube War of the Worlds tonight.
You're choosing to watch that over
No.
Why would you watch that crap?
Because they paid me to watch it. That's why. I got paid. This is chat made me watch this reviews. I wouldn't choose to watch this shit. But they gave me money. I'm going to do it. So you can tune in tomorrow on the Daily Dive for my live review of that on stream. It should be probably particularly brain hurty from what I hear. Other than that, as I said, Daily Dive, 1 p.m. every day, Monday through Friday. Check it out where the chat makes me suffer. Rest of the week, there will be, of course, gaming streams. There will be a Mel Mondays tomorrow night because it is now on an every other week schedule. So we will be doing hiccups, damn it. We will be doing that tomorrow night. Gaming streams throughout the week. Let's see. We're coming up on Anime Odyssey in a week or so, but there may not be an Anime Odyssey. Dermy has a new shit schedule, so we don't know if we're able to finish up Summer of Gundam. I'll let you guys know in a week or so while we're working that out. Other than that, as I mentioned earlier during the conversation, Jed and I will be discussing Aliens this week on Drive-In. Have some fun. It feels appropriate, and I'm going to try to take advantage of the algorithm. That's what you do. Other than that, stay tuned for whatever else I feel like talking about. Hopefully it'll be fun, entertaining. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for another wonderful episode filled with the kind of nonsense we get up to around here. We appreciate you guys hanging out, chatting it up, having a good time. Hit that like button. Links are in the description of the row. Subscribe to channels, and we'll see you guys next week. Until then, take it easy, everybody.